of history. And today, the 65th edition of the Magic City Classic comes your way. Alabama State and Alabama A&M, and it's next. Struggle, perseverance, change. These words still echo through the streets of Birmingham, a Magic City once engulfed by a movement that would not only leave its mark on history, but also alter a nation.
One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers.
I drunk from the colored water fountains.
I went to jail 6 times in this city. 6 times. All my children went to jail.
Strengthened by the pains of segregation and racism, this is a proud city.
Birmingham is the movement city, and we're proud of Birmingham being in the forefront of the civil rights movement.
We had a struggle going on here, and Birmingham is about that struggle.
I love Birmingham because Birmingham came a long ways, and I know how it got to where it is.
One of the main reasons I'm proud of Birmingham is the fact that the history has not crippled its future.
We're at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama for the 65th annual Magic City Classic. It's SWAC 1AA football. Alabama State, the Hornets, taking on the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M, presented by City. Let's check out the series history in this Magic City Classic, the 65th edition. It's a series that began way back in 1940. First won by Alabama State, 24-6. Alabama A&M, though, leads the all-time series, 31-30-3, and they have won 5 of the last 7. Exciting game promised to be here this afternoon, along with former NFL linebacker Eddie Robinson. I'm Charlie Neal. Welcome to Birmingham. And Eddie, you had an opportunity to play in this game 4 straight years. From a player's perspective, what does it mean?
Well, Charlie, I'll tell you how big this football game is. My freshman year, we came up here. We won the Magic City Classic. It seemed like a big game. You go back to campus, get pats on the back, don't realize what's really going on. My second year, we lost the Magic City Classic. Go back to campus, my tutor doesn't show up for study hall. I get a parking ticket by the campus police, and the hot lunch is cold all week. That let us know that this is an extremely big football game. We went on to win the next 2 Magic City Classics. We learned our lesson from that first defeat.
As far as Alabama A&M is concerned, they have basically the same personnel back that won this game by 3 points a year ago, including quarterback Kelsey Luke, who ran for the winning touchdown.
Yeah, Kelsey Luke is just mystery fishing at the quarterback position. This guy gets better as the game goes on, truly in charge of the offense. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of passing numbers with all of the touchdowns, but he's a winner on and off the football field. The people really believe in him, and I think he's the guy that can lead them to a victory again today. Now, you're not having double vision because he also has an older brother, Nick Luke, and together the Lukes are 75% of the offense for Alabama A&M. So if you're a Bulldog fan, you have to thank the Luke family because they are the nuts and bolts of your offense.
For Alabama State, gone are most of the players who played in this game a year ago. A very young team, including the loss of quarterback Tavares Jackson, who's now making a living in the National Football League. He threw for 4 touchdown passes in this game a year ago. He's gone, so Jay Peck, the running back, has had to take up the slack.
Yeah, man, Jay Peck is doing a great job. Here's a kid that came out of nowhere. He turned him for a high-powered passing offense to a running attack. Look, he has 714 rushing yards, second in the SWAC. If he can get 20 or 30 carries today, control the clock with that dominating rushing attack, take pressure off of the young quarterbacks, let the play-action pass set up the play-action, and then at that point, they can be real successful on the running game.
65th Magic City Classic, Alabama A&M and Alabama State. The last 4 games decided by 4 points or less. So fasten your seatbelts. The kickoff coming your way. Here in Birmingham, Alabama, along with Eddie Robinson, Charlie Neal. This is the 65th edition of the Magic City Classic. And let's look at the Eastern Division standings. Those are the ones that are very important as far as these 2 teams are concerned. Everybody's still mathematically alive, Eddie, as far as a possibility getting into the SWAC championship. Jackson State, of course, is on top. They only have one loss. Alabama A&M and Alcorn with 2, with Mississippi Valley and Alabama State 3 losses in the division.
Yeah, and it's just a huge game for Alabama A&M and Alabama State. Of course, State wants to get back into this race, but A&M, not only do they play State this week, but they play Jackson State next week. A couple real big games for the Bulldogs.
Alabama A&M with a big lead in time of possession. They're kicking off wearing the maroon jerseys. And this one is going to come down in the end zone to Desmond Foster. He brings it out across the 20 and out to the 23-yard line. And that's where Alabama State will go to work. First down and 10 from their own 23. Stop made defensively by Antonio Nelson for the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M. And they'll start with Alex Ingram, I believe, running the offense this afternoon for Bulldogs of, or sort of Hornets of Alabama State. Harold Cooper's our referee. We have a chop block. We got a penalty right off the bat in the ball game. And there's Alex Ingram from Warren, Ohio. Started his college career at Western Michigan University, ranked 9th in the conference in passing. And he's a sophomore from Harding High there. So the penalty will move them all the way back to the 13-yard line rather than the 23-yard line. Ingram has completed 56% of his passes. He's thrown 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And there have been some injuries to their quarterbacks this year as Peck gets the call right away and gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. No gain as we look at the offense for Alabama State. The running backs, Peck. The fullback is Marlon Lynch. The wide receivers, Lorenzo Hoffman and Brandon Harris. The tight end is Jarrett Alford. Offensive line of Showalter, Hall, Dunson, Hill, and Ernest Bell. A pair of freshmen at the tackle positions. It is second down. Just getting underway here. Ingram to go to the air. Has some running room. Takes off across the 20. Dances to the outside. 25, 30. Gets a block and is out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Finally knocked out by Maurice Thomas.
And Charlie, that's why Alex Ingram is the starter for the Hornets right now. You can tell no one's open downfield, and you will see a lot of this today because he is a very accomplished runner, and they want him to run if he does not see anyone open. They just want to get first downs. They're not looking for him to complete a whole lot of passes, but they want him to move the chains. And
he moved them well that time, as you see number 36, the freshman from Bessemer, Alabama, coming up to make the stop. That run good for 21 yards for Ingram. That's the second longest run of the year. His longest was 27. It is first and 10 at the 35. Play action. Little screen pass to the right side. Has it complete. And some running room to Peck coming out of the backfield. Peck finally stopped that time again by Maurice Thomas. Here's the defense of Alabama A&M. The down linemen of Maddox, Lockhart, Harper, and Cummings. The linebackers, a good one there in Johnny Baldwin, who leads the team with 56 tackles, along with Mullen and McClain. And the secondary of Tucker, Donaldson, Black, and Moore. Another first down at the 48, their own 48. This drive started at the 13-yard line. First possession of the day for either team. And here's Peck trying to cut it back maybe a yard, and that is it. He's met by a host of maroon jerseys. And one of the people that was up there to hit him was Jared Lofton, along with Avery Mullen, the linebacker.
As we take a look at Jay Peck, I mean, you can see from last season to this season, now he has 829 total yards and 6 touchdowns. And not only that, he has all of the Alabama State's rushing touchdowns this year. So this guy is really taking control of his Alabama State team. He has to get 20 to 30 touches today on the ground for them to be successful.
Second and 9. After the gain of 1. Now we get a flag. Or we get a timeout. Maybe it's a timeout being called by Charles Coe. Something he didn't see.
Called by Alabama State. Prior to the flag.
So it's the first timeout. Alabama State has used one early already. As you look at Charles Coe over there, he's in his 4th year. Went to Kansas State, 73 grad. And fastest coach in school history to win 20 games. And that's pretty accomplished. 75% winning percentage His first few years, Whitney Van Cleve is second in that department. He replaced Johnny Cole. He was named the coach back in August of '03. And he went 8-5 in his first year.
Yeah, Coach Cole came on extremely late in the year. He only had about a month or so to get ready for training camp, but then they came back that next year and actually won the conference championship.
There you see his counterpart over there, Anthony Jones, in his 5th year. 2-time SIAC Coach of the Year when he was coaching in the SIAC. And came over here to the...
From Morehouse College.
Yeah, from Morehouse to Alabama A&M. From the shotgun this time, Ingram will operate. Quick drop, little flanker screen to the inside. Not much running room after the catch for the receiver, James Earl Cray, the senior from Hazelhurst, Georgia.
And these are the type of plays that they want Alex Ingram to run today. Just little quick passes, get the ball out of his hand. Very simple, get the completion, use the run after catch yards to actually move the football. They're not going to take a lot of chances in the passing game. They'll try to get him down the field with more play action passes than drop back.
3rd down and 7. Working from under center. Looked like he had some running room. Now he lets it go. Incomplete. Way downfield, defending Maurice Thomas. The intended receiver was Lorenzo Hoffman, the senior from Tuskegee, Alabama.
And you can tell they're trying to go up top to Slim Hoffman. Now here, Alex is just dropping back. He doesn't see anyone underneath. He realizes that it's 3rd and long, so he takes a shot downtown. And I like that because Slim Hoffman is a 6'5" receiver. He has the height advantage over most defenders. And at some point, Alabama State has to take some shots down the field to create a big play.
So they punt it away. And let's see, it looks like it's going to take an Alabama A&M bounce. Not a long punt. Only 19 yards that time for their punter. And that is Anthony Johnson, who's averaging 39.6 yards per punt. Didn't look like a 39-yard per average punter that time.
You know what? In this big game, you have a lot of electricity going on in here, and you can have some guys get a little nervous early on. But now, Kelsey Luke, here's a guy that's familiar with this Magic City Classic. I'm not expecting him to have any nervousness because he had the go-ahead touchdown last year. Very accomplished guy who has control of this Alabama A&M offense.
1st down and 10 at the 30. First possession for Alabama A&M, and they fumble the ball. And Alabama State may have it. They may have it. It may be a turnover. No, the officials are saying they got it back.
And that's how it goes, Charlie. You talk good about a player, and then he comes out and fumbles the first snap. But he'll get it going. But like I said, this is a big game. I mean, a lot of electricity and a lot of energy. So some of these players will come out here nervous. The coach said that they want them to look for this big game atmosphere. But you can see here just a quarterback-center exchange. One of the simplest things that you have to do, but you have to get that right before you can run the play.
Tamar Scott, the lone setback behind the quarterback. Kelsey Luke, who's going back to pass on 2nd and 11. Has a man out there, but now they're going to call pass interference. They're going to call pass interference. The intended receiver was Moody, the tight end, the big 260-pound junior from Daleville, Georgia. I'm trying to figure out where the interference was.
Well, it looked like he was trying to run the out and up, and I think what he did was just grab him a little bit when he was trying to make this move to the upfield.
Well, maybe so. I missed it.
I tell you what, the referees don't miss much.
You know, don't you, Eddie?
Yeah, they'll get you every time.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 33, 15 yards from the previous spot. First down.
Chris Dupuis, who is the linebacker.
And you can see he kind of hooked him around the waist, Charlie. Chris Dupuis, very good outside linebacker. Just was peeking in the backfield a little bit early on, and you want to do that. First down play action, that's good, especially in this big game. Everyone's trying to get a big hit, knock someone out. Hey, hit him with a little play action, try to get down the field early.
So now it's a 1st down and 10. The ball is moved all the way out to the 44-yard line. First possession for Alabama A&M. No score in the contest. Here's Tamar Scott trying to go to the right side, but gold jerseys are all there to make sure he doesn't get anywhere. Markel McKinley led the charge defensively. As we look at Alabama A&M's offense with Tamar Scott, Travis O'Neal in the backfield, Emmanuel Edwards a good one at a wide receiver along with Kevin Francis. Charles Moody is the tight end. Up front blocking, Darius Turner, Jeffrey Johnson, Christopher Franklin, Christian Smith, James Sanders, all doing a great job blocking this year. Now we've got some movement probably on the offense because they're going to drop the flag before the play is run, so that'll move A&M back 5 more yards.
Prior to the snap, number 71 on the offense, on a false start, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
James Sanders, first-year starter, junior from Indianapolis, Indiana, and Ben Davis High was the man who was guilty. Talking about penalties, this team from Huntsville, Alabama, averaging 73 yards in penalties per contest.
Yeah, but they had 10 penalties last year, and that's something that coach talked about, that they definitely wanted to get that penalty situation under control for this game.
Second down and 17 now for Alabama A&M. Luke rolling and throws it under pressure, and I'll tell you, they were doing a great job of pressuring the quarterback. Number 23 defensively was coming in there. As you look at the defensive line, Byron Powell, Tonico, McKinley, and Alfonso. Down front, the linebackers, Dupuis, Michael Figures, and Leland Jones. And in the secondary, you have Toussaint, Javar Bruce, Desmond Foster, and Michael Coe. But the man who brought pressure that time was Craig Freeman, a freshman who came in there and put some pressure on the quarterback, Kelsey Luke. It is third down and 17 now. In motion, Kevin Francis, number 12. And now we may have delay a game. Play clock ran out on him.
Play of the game on number 9, the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
So it's third and 22. Self-destructing here on this drive.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have those type of penalties early on, and that's one of those few penalties that actually get called on the quarterback. Usually the quarterback doesn't get a lot of penalties, but that delay of game, they put it on number 9, Kelsey Luke.
There you see the time remaining in the first quarter. No score, first possession of the day for Alabama A&M. Now we get another penalty. Or timeout. No.
Yeah, timeout for A&M. Very shaky start for the Bulldogs offense.
Yeah, this is not indicative of Alabama A&M, a team that's vying for that East Division crown in the SWAC. Back here in Birmingham, no score.
It's the most brazen. My call.
Third and 22 back here in Birmingham, Legion Field. Kelsey Luke going to the air on third long, under pressure, brought down from behind. Big number 98 was there. Noel Alfonso on the stop defensively. There he is, the redshirt freshman from Charles High in Tallahassee, a walk-on, and it was converted offensive lineman, and has done a very good job here.
A good defensive stand for Alabama State to get the ball back. They should have pretty good field position after this punt.
So for the first punt, Alabama A&M, the punter is Quailar. Fair catch called for, and is made at the 32-yard line. 32-yard line is where they'll go to work. Michael Coe with the fair catch for Alabama State.
Alabama State with their second possession. Look for some early play action. I talked with Reggie Barlow. Of course, he's the quarterback coach and former player for Alabama State, and he said they want to get some play action passes going, as well as that good running game by Jay Peck. But they want to keep these quarterbacks, Alex Ingram, in some easy situations, some 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, so they can't have a lot of negative plays on the early downs.
You saw a shot of Ingram coming on at one point in the season. Coach questioned his desire to play this game, but he seems to have come around. He had some shoulder injuries against Prairie View. but doing a pretty good job as Peck gets the call, and Peck gets out across the 35 to about the 38-yard line. Peck stopped by Segura. As you look at Charles Coe, Alabama State, first year football back in 1901. They've won 420 games over their career, and that should be 2 SWAC titles rather than 1, actually. In postseason appearances, they had 5, 2 SWAC titles.
Yeah, 1 in 1991 and 1 in 2004.
Ingram working from the shotgun. Incomplete. Good defense downfield.
And that's Marcus Black on that pass breakup. And I tell you, he's a hard-hitting safety. I remember from watching him last year in this game, and early on this year I was able to see him. Only has 1 interception, but this guy is extremely physical at the point of attack. Look for him to make a lot of plays in the passing game, but also in the run game.
Senior from Lithonia, Georgia, first team all SWAC preseason selection. There he is, Marcus Black, 6 foot senior. 3rd down. And again, the defense stiffens for the Bulldogs of Alabama A&M. They're not going to let Mr. Peck get loose. Johnny Baldwin, number 57, we'll call his name a lot today.
Yeah, and that's the matchup you want to see. You want to see Jay Peck versus Johnny Baldwin. And I have to say, Johnny Baldwin won that matchup. I mean, he tackled him and also knocked him back to have him short of that 1st down.
And here's a second punt of the afternoon for Anthony Johnson. This time it gets a little better bounce, and it bounces all the way down to the 13-yard line. No score. In the first quarter here, no score in the 65th edition of the Magic City Classic. Last year, this game was decided by 3 points. Alabama A&M was the winner, 31-28. Alabama State on a pair, actually Tavares Jackson gave them a 16-0 lead with that touchdown pass.
And you can tell, I mean, this game started off, looked like Alabama State was going to blow them out. But here, Emmanuel Edwards with the 48-yard punt return for a touchdown. Alabama A&M went for 2, and they just got right back in this game and turned it over with the momentum.
Certainly did. 31-28 the final. Tavares Jackson, who's now playing with the Minnesota Vikings, threw 4 touchdown passes in that particular game. And last year, the Luke brothers, Kelsey 194 yards, a pair of touchdowns. Nick rushed for 90 and had a 2-point conversion in that 3-point victory. Right now, 1st down and 10, second possession for Alabama A&M. It's been a defensive struggle so far. A little misdirection, trying to go back to the left side and breaking tackles with a vengeance and running very, very strong. Although we have a penalty flag down, is Tamar Scott.
And you talk so much about the Kelsey Luke brothers and Kelsey and Nick Luke, but Tamar Scott is another guy, man. He's a tough physical runner who goes downhill. He really gets you those tough yards.
On the defense, the 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Javar Bruce is the man guilty of the face mask, the junior out of St. Jude High in Montgomery, Alabama. But you look at the stats on Tamar Scott, the young man who leads the team in rushing with 498 yards last year at 557 yards, while Nick Luke, his running counterpart, had 819. And again, here's Tamar Scott with the call, and Tamar Scott on 1st down picks up maybe a yard, and that's it. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
Yeah, Nick Luke had some off and on groin injury problems, so Tamar Scott has actually been the guy that had to carry this Alabama A&M offensive attack from the ground game. And I mean, he's very capable, 6 feet, 212 pounds, a senior from Demopolis, very physical running style.
He's had 3 100-yard games this year. In fact, had 122 in their last outing against Arkansas Pine Bluff a week ago. It is 2nd down and 9. 5.5 to go. We're in the first quarter from the I formation. Kelsey looked to pass. Incomplete. a little bit too big for Kevin Francis. Don't forget ESPNU Inside the Polls, presented by Conoco, breaks down the new college football polls each Monday at 6 Eastern. Mike Hall, Mike Gottfried, and Todd McShay will look back at the week that was and look ahead to the big matchups in college football. ESPNU Inside the Polls, presented by Conoco, each Monday at 6 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. Along with Eddie Robinson, Charlie Neal here in Birmingham, Alabama, at Legion Field. And the people are still streaming into the stadium. Last year, 68,000 packed Legion Field for this annual event. Here's the pressure. Screen being set up, and it goes incomplete. Tried to set it up to the fullback, Travis O'Neal, the senior from Leeds, Alabama. And Travis, there he is, couldn't hold on.
Yeah, and Travis O'Neal had a 48-yard screen play already. He actually has the longest reception play from scrimmage from Alabama A&M. And I tell you what, Charlie, if he catches that pass on this screen play, he may go the distance because they had it set up very nicely on the outside.
He had a lot of blockers up there, too, in front of him, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a chance to get some real big yards, and I don't think Alabama State would have been in position to stop him.
Second punt of the afternoon for Alabama A&M. Takes an Alabama A&M bounce. Still bouncing all the way inside the 20 to the 18. So when we come back, Alabama State will get the ball for the third time. Still no score in Birmingham.
ESPN College Game Day, Saturdays at 10 a.m.
It's a new day.
I'm number 1A. I'm a Bulldog from all the way back in '63 when my brother was going to school at Alabama A&M. Got 3 sisters graduated. I got a son, number 57, Johnny Baldwin III. I'm Johnny Baldwin Jr. My dad is Johnny Baldwin Sr. We got a lineage of Alabama A&M football players.
And he's proud, isn't he?
Yeah, he should be, because I tell you what, his son is a heck of a football player, and that's what this game is about. You have a whole family and lineage of players that are going down from year to year coming to these respective schools.
No question about it. First down and 10 for Alabama State. And here's Peck again going into the heart of the defense of Alabama A&M, but not much doing there as Justin Harper was there to make the stop defensively. Legion Field has been a lot of football played here over the years. Capital of the South, opened in 1926, 70,000 plus. First 2 Southeast Conference championships were played here, and then Auburn and Alabama played the Iron Bowl here between 1948 and 88. That's a 40-year period, and the SWAC championship has been held here every year since 1999. This year, it'll be held on December 16th. Who will be in it? Alabama A&M is hoping they are. And so is Alabama State as Peck gets the first down across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. Marcus Black up to make the stop defensively for A&M. And Eddie, one of the things that may help Alabama State in today's game is the fact that they had the week off. They had a chance to heal. Their quarterbacks were a little banged up. We're talking about Ingram and Woods. Ingram in their lineup today. But that week off hopefully helped them.
Yeah, and Ingram, like you're talking about, had tendonitis in his shoulder, and the only thing you can do to cure that is to get rest. But that does definitely help when you always have that off week coming into a big football game.
From the shotgun, Peck again on the carry, and not much running room there as Johnny Baldwin was there to make the stop defensively. As we said, we were going to call his name a lot. He's the leading tackler on this team. Came in with a sack, a couple of breakups. He covers all over the field. Yeah, and Jay Peck is the leading rusher, and both of these guys are extremely good players. Of course, Johnny Baldwin wins that matchup, but you're going to see Jay Peck touch this football a lot of times today. They want to get him 25 to 30 touches, and he can handle it. He already has 152 carries on the year. Defensive leader of that Alabama A&M team. Ingram with some running room to the right side at the 40. And out of bounds in front of his own bench, but a first down is gained, and the chains move forward for the Hornets of Alabama State. Boy, I'll tell you, Everybody went left, and he was over there all by himself.
Yeah, I tell you what, if you're a wide receiver, you better get open quick because Ingram isn't waiting for you to get open. He knows that he has to get first down. He's been instructed by the coaches just to move the chains. And you can see he's a speedy quarterback. He can make things happen with his feet, and he's going to use them to get out of the pocket and just move the chains. That's all they want is to get first downs.
Comes in at 5'10". They call it about 200 pounds. He was recruited very heavily out of Harding High in Warren, Ohio. And he wound up at Alabama State. Peck again. Nothing going that time for Mr. Peck. He is met with a vengeance right in the hole by Johnny Baldwin and Richardson. Defensively, as we are in Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama for the 65th edition of the Magic City Classic. Charlie Neal along with Eddie Robinson, and actually this is not the 65th time these two teams have met. They've met 71 times, but only the 65th edition of the Magic City. It wasn't called the Magic City until 1940. It is 2nd down and 10. I think 5 of the first 6 meetings Alabama State was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Alabama State shut out Alabama A&M.
Yeah, but I can tell you what, it's just about all tied up now. I mean, like you said, this is the 65th Magic City Classic. And what's so remarkable about this game is that Alabama A&M leads this Magic City Classic series 31-30-3. So how many times do you play 64 games and you only have one game deciding the two teams?
That's right. And over the last 21 years, 65% of these games have been decided by 7 points or less. They play it very close to the vest.
It should be a very close game today. I mean, you have two running teams, very conservative offenses, and it should be very tight going down the stretch.
Yeah, you can't get much closer than it is right now, right? Nothing tie. Ingram with the pass, has it complete for a first down, and still on his feet and battling for an extra 5 yards. What a determined effort is Brandon Harris, the senior from Montgomery, Alabama's Robert E. Lee High. And for Brandon, his 22nd reception of the year.
Yeah, and what I like about this, he runs the curl route, but he makes sure that he gets the first down. And then look at the effort. I mean, here's a guy that knows what it means to play in this type of a big game, the Magic City Classic. He's a senior, wants to go out on top. So not only does he make the catch, he tries his very best to get as many yards as he can.
He takes Frank Moore an extra 5 yards. The ball is inside the 40 down to the 39-yard line. That was good for 23 yards. And for Brandon Harris, his longest reception this year was 32. Peck, not much running room for him that time, as Richardson was there to make the stop defensively, number 51.
And you can see on first downs, Alabama State is content to try to run on first down, run on second. Hey, do something special on third down. But at some point, you have to wonder, will they try to sneak in the first down play action, maybe take another shot deep on Alabama A&M like they did with Slim Hoffman earlier in the game?
Loss of 2, 2nd down 12 on the last play. 3 wide receivers out to the top of your screen right now. Let's see what they work. They move Peck around in the backfield. Quick drop, and the receiver never saw the ball coming. That's Lorenzo Hoffman, as it was a quick 2-step drop by the quarterback Ingram, and they were coming in there, weren't they?
I mean, they were going to bring pressure on the young quarterback, but I mean, Slim Hoffman is the 6'6" guy, so I like this. You take a 2-step drop, put it up there, maybe he can have a chance to make a big play. Just never really connected and got his head turned around to find the football.
And the guy who was covering him, number 19, Frank Moore, is only 5'11". But he's also tied for 2nd in the SWAC in interceptions.
Yes, and he's a tough guy. I mean, you throw at him, you're taking the chance. He's already picked off 3.
Yeah. It is 3rd and 12. Ingram under pressure, throws, has it complete in the middle of the field, down to the 15-yard line. First down, Alabama State. Brandon Harris once again, and I'll tell you, look at the arm strength of the quarterback Ingram.
Yeah, huge third down conversion here. I mean, Alabama State, 38% on third down, but just a great job of having a feel for the pocket, realizing that I have one person draped on me and I have a guy sitting in the middle of the field. He connects for that first down, and Brandon Harris once again stepping up on a third down conversion, 2 consecutive third down conversions. Ingram to Brandon Harris.
A 23 and a 21-yard pass completion by Ingram on this drive, and they're all the way down inside the red zone. They're at the 14-yard line, and now Alabama A&M wants to take a timeout defensively. Bronski Towns, the defensive coordinator, said, hey, we want to talk things over. And you look at the red zone offense by Alabama State this year. They've been there 15 times. They've scored 6 touchdowns, and they've kicked 4 field goals in the red zone so far this year. They ranked 7th in the conference in that department. That's 66%. 4 of those touchdowns were running touchdowns. The other 2 came by way of the pass. 4 of 7 in field goals.
And that's always tough when you get down into that red zone and you're not getting points like you want to. Trust me, 67% is not something that the coach wants. He wants that number to be around 85 to 90%, because once you get inside that 20-yard line, points are precious, especially in the game as close as this one. You need to score every time you get inside the 20-yard line.
No question about it. I talked to Coach Coe and asked him what was the big difference in terms of losing Tavares Jackson beside losing their quarterback from a year ago. And he talked about the inexperience at running back. But Peck has picked up the slack. As you said, he didn't come into the season as being the number 1 running back for this team.
I mean, he wasn't the starter in the spring. He came to training camp on opening day not being the starter, but he worked very hard in training camp. They say that he showed the most promise going into the opening game. And now look at him now, 756 rushing yards. He has 6 rushing touchdowns, and he has all of the rushing touchdowns for Alabama State and leads the team in scoring with 36 points. So a very big surprise for Jay Peck from Alabama State. I mean, he's the guy that they're really counting on to control this football game, and he's been the bell cow throughout the year in 2006.
This drive started at their own 18. They're all the way down to the 14-yard line of Alabama A&M right now. Here's the pitch to the right side. Peck turns the corner. Peck is down at about the 11-yard line. A gain of about 3. Richardson on the stop defensively for Alabama A&M.
Yeah, I like this. You're getting a one-back set. You get a one-back set. I'm sorry. Everyone is lined up on one side. You make it look like a pass, but then it's actually a running play. Just trying to get Jay Peck to stretch the defense, try to get north and south, and punch him into the end zone.
And now it looks like Alabama State's going to use a timeout, or is the first quarter coming to an end? That's what it is. They're not using a timeout. They're using the clock to their advantage. And they'll switch ends of the field. The long walk all the way back down. They'll be down at the 11 when we come back. No score here. Magic City Classic. Fans still partying in the parking lot.
What did I say?
They've been here since Wednesday, Cookie.
Go Bulldogs.
We're going to get some of it when this is over. We'll be back.
Today.
Back here in Birmingham for the 65th edition of the Magic City Classic, along with Eddie Robinson, Charlie Neal. No scores. We start the second quarter here. And talking about first quarter scoring this year, both teams have scored points, but they have not been prolific in the first quarter so far this year. Here's the time of possession so far in this particular ball game. Alabama State has had the ball 10 minutes and 12 seconds, and they're threatening right now with a second down. 2nd and 7 at the 11. Here's Peck, and Peck gets it inside the 10 before he's stopped by Kevin Lockhart defensively for Alabama A&M.
That time of possession is huge, Charlotte, because of course Alabama A&M leads the conference in time of possession. They've done a great job of keeping the ball away from the other team's offense, but here they find themselves backed up inside their own 8-yard line, and we see what they can do defensively to try to stop the Hornets.
2 of 4 third down conversions for Alabama State so far today. For the season, they're 38%. They're 50% this afternoon. Big third down play. Play action. Ingram is sacked all the way back to the 18-yard line. And it was Justin Harper who came in to make the stop defensively. Big number 98.
Yeah, great job by Bronski Towns, the defense coordinator for Alabama A&M. Hey, bring the pressure on the young guy on third down. You want to roll him out for a pass. We're going to bring pressure, and we're going to sack him and make him make a bad decision with the football.
So here's a field goal attempt by Alabama State. It'll be Anthony Johnson. He's 5 of 9 this year. His longest a 31-yarder. This one will come from 33 yards. The kick is up, has the distance, and it is good. So we finally have a score on the board. They drove from their own 18. They had to settle for a field goal, but Alabama State, the Hornets, on the board. In Birmingham, college football presented by Citi here on ESPNU, along with Eddie Robinson and Charlie Neal. Here, I've got Tom Joyner has joined us.
Hey, Charlie.
It's always great to see you, Tom, and glad to have you here in the city of Birmingham. We know you did the Sky Show from here on Friday, and then you hosted a fundraiser last night for the Alabama A&M Scholarship Fund.
Yeah, Alabama A&M and Alabama State. We were trying to raise $1 million for both schools so that the state of Alabama would match each school with $1 million.
Well, I'll tell you, you've done a lot in terms of helping HBCUs with fundraisers, and we're going to let you stay here with us a little bit. Maybe let you do some of my junk. I want to come on your show one day. Here's a return, Alabama A&M up the field. We may have something going. Here's Banks. Banks at the 20, 10, touchdown. Banks all the way back. That's his second touchdown he's returned. Kickoff for a touchdown this year.
I came at the right time. How long was that?
Charlie, what an exciting play.
I think there's a flag down, though, at the 35-yard line. Let's see what it is. Offsides against the kicking team?
No.
That'll be declined.
That's a touchdown.
That's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Let's look at it once again. Here's Ulysses Banks. He can fly. He feels it at the 1. It's 99 yards on that one.
Yeah, the 5'10", 195-pound freshman. This is his second time with a kickoff return for a touchdown. Only a freshman, and he's from Parker High School. Charlie, Parker High School is only 3 blocks from the stadium. If he keeps running, he can make it back to his high school alma mater. What a great job of getting that thing in the end zone as Alabama A&M takes the lead.
And Lycia for the point after. The freshman from Ventura, California. The kick is up. And it is good. 7-3, just that quickly. 2 touchdowns in the last 18 seconds. Not bad, is it?
That's right. And I've been here for the last 18 seconds.
Hey, maybe you brought some excitement because it was a dull first quarter.
Yeah, and here I am, ready to get it started.
Let's talk a little bit about what you've been able to accomplish through the Tom Joyner Foundation and how you've been able to help these HBCUs.
Well, our foundation helps students stay in school at historically black colleges and universities. There's one thing to go to school and get in, but there's another thing to stay in school. So our foundation helps students continue their education at HBCUs. We've been in existence only since '98, and we've contributed more than $50 million to students at historically black colleges, all of them.
And you have an association with Alabama State. You went to Tuskegee, the annual Turkey Day Classic down in Montgomery, Alabama.
Right, they're rivals.
Oh,
they're rivals, you know. Yeah, Eddie.
I tell you, you guys have been beating up on Alabama State the last couple of years, the Tuskegee Golden Tigers.
Oh, supposed to. That's what we're supposed to do.
Here's Alabama A&M trying to get something going on the kickoff return, but not much running room there for James Cray. James Earl Cray on the return, and Alabama State will start first down and 10 at their own 28-yard line. What's coming up next for you guys? No, it's too cold to cruise.
No,
the family reunion.
The cruise is always in May. And it's about 60% sold out already, and we haven't really done a hard launch, just a soft launch. But ESPNU, I am so proud because what HBCUs mean to me and what you all are doing with the SWAC conference and all the games that you're broadcasting, exposing black college football and the pageantry of a black college classic like the Magic City.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, this is so much more than football.
Have you been outside tailgating already today?
You know it. That's where I was the first quarter, like most of the people here.
Well, a lot of people are still out there tailgating.
Yes,
also.
we're coming in. So I'm a true party.
Oh yeah.
We got to go to break. Tom, so good to see you. Thank you. Tell Donna I said hello.
I will.
And safe travels.
All right, Charlie.
Thank you.
Eddie.
Charles Coe, his team trailing by a score of 7-3. The special teams has let him down on that particular last kickoff after they scored on a field goal. And we talked about Ulysses Banks, who came into the game not ranked nationally because he'd only returned 7 kicks, but he's averaging 38.3 yards per kickoff return.
That average just went up after that long return.
Did. His second 90-plus yard kickoff return this year. He had a 90-yarder in the opening kickoff against Southern University earlier this year. He had a 99 this game. And there's Peck for the last carry. A gain of maybe 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. There's a flag on the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct, and it's against Alabama State. Alabama State, you know, you're talking about the penalties. We talked about Alabama and them earlier. 63 yards per game for Alabama State.
Unsportsmanlike, charge to the offense, number 75. It'd be 15 yards from the previous spot, 15 yards.
Ivora Hall was the man. Let's see if we can see what happened. Number 75, there it is. A little extracurricular activity after the whistle had blown, and he's still going at it.
I think he's mad about that long kickoff return for a touchdown. But remember, last year was Emmanuel Edwards who had that long punt return for a touchdown to kind of open this game up and give Alabama A&M the momentum. And now they come with another big special teams play, and it seems like they have the momentum once again in this game.
Second down.
And yeah, that was a 16-0 deficit that Alabama A&M was facing at the time when Emmanuel Edwards came up with that 48-yard punt return, and then, of course, the 99-yard kickoff return here this afternoon by Ulysses Banks.
And because the Hornets were playing really good defense, A&M really couldn't get anything going offensively, but then you have that big spark of the long kickoff return by the freshman, and you have to like that coming home to Birmingham, returning a kickoff for a touchdown. Like I said, Parker High School is literally 3 or 4 blocks from the stadium. It's walking distance. So I know he has to be excited, him and his entire family.
No question about it. Second and much real estate to go for Alabama State. Dropped in and out of the hands of Brandon Harris. I almost said Al Vance Robinson. They look like each other a lot.
Yeah, they do. But Brandon Harris, man, he's going to really be upset with this pass right here. I mean, he has 2 early 3rd down conversions that he did catch, but this one you have to have, man, just a post route coming across the middle on 2nd and long. That could have put him in a 3rd and short situation. The ball is a strike right in both of the hands. He slides and just couldn't grab it and get that catch for Alabama State.
And it brings up a 3rd down so far today. 2 of 5 in 3rd down conversions for the Hornets. From the shotgun, Ingram is working. And the handoff is to Peck. Almost broke out of there. Picks up about 5 or 6 yards, but not enough. The ball will be spotted at the 19, and that'll bring up a punting situation once again for the Hornets.
And Alabama State coaches would tell you, I mean, they're not set up for those 3rd and long situations. They want to have some 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, those type of situations. Very tough for them to convert those 3rd and longs.
3rd punt of the day. Here's a fair catch, or not a fair catch, just a catch. I don't think the return man was paying attention. That's Emmanuel Edwards. He was thinking maybe I can do it again this year, right?
Yeah, of course he wasn't. But I tell you what, this Alabama State special teams, they're up and they're awake now. I mean, they realize the intensity and the level that they have to play at to be successful in this game. I mean, and to have that return for a touchdown and the kickoff, that's very hard this part of the game because you were doing well. You had the momentum in your favor. You were up 3-0. Things were going good. Man, everything is totally deflated, and now the Bulldogs take the 7-3 lead.
We come into this game with ranked number 1 in the conference in time of possession, averaging 35 minutes a game as Kelsey Luke rolls to the right, throws back across the field, man wide open at the 30-yard line. Still on his feet is Thomas Harris, and he's brought down just shy of the 15. Thomas Harris on the reception, his 23rd reception of the year, the freshman from Alexander City, Alabama.
And I really like this play. It's like a throwback play. You can see Kelsey Luke, he rolls out to the right, but it's a throwback the whole way. He sets up over the tackle. The receiver makes it look like he's going to run a crossing route, but then he peels back and goes back to the sideline. Perfect throw and catch, and a well-designed play by Alabama A&M.
44 yards, longest reception of the year for Harris. He's ranked 7th in the conference in receiving. Emmanuel Edwards goes in motion, and it's Nick Luke on the carry this time inside the 15 to about the 14.
And we haven't heard from Nick Luke today, but of course he'll have his chance to make some plays also for this Bulldog offense. And Tamar Scott and Nick Luke, they like to share the running duties. Both of them are effective, and together they can really wear down the defense.
And Nick Luke had an 100-yard game, 107 to be exact, in their season opener, a win by 7 points against Tennessee State. I formation. That looked like a false start almost, didn't it? As Nick Luke tries to cut it back this time. Still bouncing, still on his feet, and somehow did the Houdini trick and got a first down at the 6. Nicholas Gant there on the stop defensively.
Wow, good strong running by Nick Luke inside the tackles. And you can see all the Hornets that have a shot at him. He's able to bounce off of people and keep that leg drive going. Now, Stanley Connor, their offensive coordinator, he was an old running back from the Jackson State Tigers in the swag days and coached me at Alabama State. He knows the importance of having that good ground game and having these guys run physical after the point of contact.
First and goal. Nick Luke bounces to the inside. Why did he come back inside? Did you see all that room on the outside?
Sometimes guys just run the darkness, but if he would have headed for that pylon, the score could be 14-3. I agree with you absolutely, Charlie.
I mean, I know he's down in the heat of the action. He can't see as well as we can. We're sitting up high. We're like in a helicopter up here. But I'll tell you, look at all the room to the right side.
It just keep going outside. I mean, it's not another guy out there. It's only the touchdown and the pylon. And he went back inside.
It is second and goal. Nick Luke again to the left side. He'll score with ease this time. Nick Luke, he takes it in from 4 yards out.
Charlie, we're going to move you into coaching because he must have heard you when you said stay to the outside.
Luke with the 4-yard run. And for him, it is only his second touchdown rushing this year.
Yeah, he's been banged up in and out of the lineup, but it always has to feel good when you score a touchdown in the Magic City Classic. Alabama A&M with that running attack, just able to pound it down Alabama State in the red zone.
For the point after, Lucia, the freshman, the kick is up, and it is good. 14-3. Last 2 possessions for Alabama A&M.
Customize one that's right for you.
Late in the last century, Esurance emerged on the scene.
And now it's one of the fastest growing auto insurance companies in America. Lots of people are drawn to Esurance because they've taken a fresh look at their auto insurance. What about you?
Quote, buy, print. Save time and money on your auto insurance instantly at Esurance.
With 12:37 left second quarter, Alabama A&M has jumped out to a 14-3 lead. Their only sustained drive of the ball game came on this 56-yard drive.
And you can see just an off-tackle play. Everyone is pinned inside. This time, Nick Luke does the correct thing by staying outside. The easy touchdown untouched as he goes across for the score. 5
plays. They had a 56-yard drive. Luke with the 4-yard run. They used 2:32 off the clock. The other touchdown came on a 99-yard kickoff return. And they're partying here in Legion Field. And I'll tell you, it is Halloween, isn't it?
In the stands also.
Set your clocks back. Here's a return for Desmond Foster for Alabama State. And Foster gets it up across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Not a bad return for Mr. Foster.
Yeah, but it's always hard. You can see, look at all of the east-west running yards. I mean, when you have that kickoff return, it's better just to go right north and south. He has a good return, but when you're going across the field, man, so much speed by the kickoff coverage team, it's hard to break it for a big game.
At the 33, their own 33. Here's you talking about ball control. Alabama State has had the ball control of the day. Alabama A&M's got the points, though.
And that's what matters. The points lead to the W and the L.
Play action on first down. Ingram going to the air, throws it in the middle of a bunch of red jerseys, and Alford just couldn't make the catch. Looked like there were more A&M players there, as Holmes was one of them there defensively, than there were Alabama State players.
Yeah, Ingram tried to fit that into a real tight window, but you have to try some first down play action. I mean, Jay Peck, we know he's going to be the guy that really totes the mail today for Alabama State, but at some point you're going to have to take a chance in the passing game, especially if you start to fall behind.
Peck is the lone back in the backfield. Alford in motion. And they come with the blitz, and everybody is coming. They brought everybody on that one. And defense trailer comes in, and he makes the stop defensively. Preseason first team all-conference, had been suspended for 4 games, and Trailer, his first game back. He broke a team rule, hadn't played since the Mississippi Valley game, missed Texas Southern, Stillman, and Arkansas Pine Bluff, and he comes up with a big sack today.
And they told us he would play today, and Coach Towns was excited when I asked him about Trailer getting back on the field. I mean, this guy is a pure pass rusher. He was actually leading the conference in sacks early on.
Here's the quarterback, Ingram, trying to pick up some yards with his feet, and gets out to the 34-yard line, make it to 35, and that's it. It's going to bring up another 4th down punting situation for the Hornets. We're at Legion Field in Birmingham for the 65th edition of the Magic City Classic. Fans are still filing into the stadium here, trying to get ready for halftime to see the Battle of the Bands. Along with Eddie Robinson, I'm Charlie Neal. Glad you could be with us here. Alabama A&M in their gold jerseys, maroon being worn by the home team, Alabama A&M, this year. Takes a pretty good bounce for Alabama State and will go out of bounds at the 11-yard line. So it turns out to be a pretty good punt. Good for 54 yards, the longest punt of the afternoon for Anthony Johnson. Anthony Johnson came in averaging 39 yards per punt, 6th rated punter in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And we talk about this Southwestern Athletic Conference race and how important some of these games are, you know, in addition to the game we have here. Jackson State and Arkansas Pine Bluff are playing today, and they're both at the top of their respective divisions. Grambling's playing Texas Southern, and Prairie View is at Mississippi Valley for Mississippi Valley's homecoming. Nothing doing that time for Nick Luke. He was met in the hole by Jones. There he is, number 36. Leland Jones.
Yeah, Jones and also Desmond Foster. Look at the cornerback on the outside, man. He just goes underneath the blocker, disappears, and comes back up and makes that play.
Alabama A&M leads it by a score of 14-3. 2nd down and 10 from their own 11. I formation. Francis in motion. Here's Nick with the carry. Nick across the 15 to the 17. Dupuis on the stop defensively, senior from New Orleans. Boy, he's quite a story with all the issues they had with Hurricane Katrina, isn't he?
Yeah, his family was definitely affected, and Dupuis is just a great guy. I mean, he has 60 total tackles, 2 interceptions, but off the field has been doing so much, going back and forth, helping his family rebuild their home in Slidell, Louisiana, which is right outside of New Orleans. I've actually talked to him in high school when I was still playing football for the Titans. It just lets you know how old you're getting when some of the players you used to talk to in high school are now playing in college.
Yeah, you played when I was doing your game, so you know how old I feel.
We're not going to talk about your age, Sean.
And this pass is complete to Kevin Francis, the 3rd leading receiver in the SWAC. Came into the game with 28 receptions, and they moved the chains forward. 1st down, Alabama A&M. Lace up your skates for college hockey on ESPNU next Sunday. Bowling Green Falcons face the Miami Redhawks in a battle for Buckeye State bragging rights. College hockey on ESPNU Sunday at 3 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line for Alabama A&M now. Again, Kevin Francis is the man in motion. Lone setback behind the quarterback. Long count. And the receiver falls down. And that was intended for Anthony Mitchell. A lot of famous people are here in attendance. American Idol winner Ruben Studdard, who lives here, I believe, in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, he does, and he actually attended Alabama A&M, so I'm assuming
he's going to perform with them at halftime.
That should be the guess. I mean, he's sitting with the band. Maybe they're going over some notes, but that has to be great for all of those kids from Alabama A&M to have a guy like Ruben Studdard, you know, recording orders, has a new album coming out, and actually sitting with those guys during the Magic City Classic.
And he has a Yankees hat on. He's not a Cardinals fan.
He's not a Cardinals fan. He would be happy if he was.
Screen pass set up, but I'll tell you, it was read perfectly by the defense of Alabama State. Read perfectly. And Michael Figures, the middle linebacker, junior out of Quincy, Florida, transferred from the University of Cincinnati along with Desmond Foster. They were right there to make sure he was stopped.
Yeah, and what I like what Michael Figures did, he just blew up everybody. Look what he does. He just takes out all three guys. He's like a bowling ball just knocking down pins. I don't know which one has the ball, but I'm just going to hit them all and make them fall down.
Hey, you can't go with your feet not under you, right?
Yeah, sometimes you have to be tough. You can't get cute when you're playing middle linebacker. Just destroy everything. That's a good motto.
3rd down and 9, and you know, Eddie, you played that for many years.
I wasn't that tough, though.
Here's the pressure on Luke, trying to get away, and he goes down at the 20, a loss of 4. Alfonso there. Noel Alfonso, the walk-on. Tallahassee, Florida.
And Charlie, we've called his name a couple times today already. I mean, only a redshirt freshman. And here's a guy that was supposed to be playing offensive tackle. Then they moved him to defense. And Coach Coe said, hey, he's doing so good on defense, we're not going to move him back to offensive tackle.
Alabama A&M came in being sacked only 10 times this year. Alabama State has come through with 2 so far this afternoon. That'll bring up a punting situation. They just get this one away. Good hang time. Fair catch called for and made right at about the 45-yard line by Coe. The coach's son, Michael Coe. He's a grad student, already has his degree. Transferred here from Arkansas. Had a hip pointer last 3 games, but is playing pretty good.
Yeah, he is. I mean, it has to be real exciting when you can come back and play for your dad. He transferred for his senior season after playing his early college years at Arkansas. And we asked Coach Coe, well, does he live off campus? He said, man, I'm not letting that boy live off campus. He's staying at home with me and Mom.
That's right.
So he keeps a good eye on him, but he's doing a great job for Alabama State.
Here's Ingram on 1st down with some running room to the left side, being chased by Baldwin. Baldwin can't get to him, trips him up a little bit. He's still on his feet inside the 20 to the 18. Baldwin had a beat on him. Baldwin slowed him up a little bit, but couldn't slow him down enough. Big gain that time for the quarterback, Ingram.
Yeah, and it's always tough, man. You have an X factor at the quarterback position. Look how he drops back. Everyone is covered. The pass rush, one guy gets out of the pass rush lane, and bam, he's off and going. I mean, you have good coverage down the field, but you still lose on the down because of the athletic ability of the quarterback.
37 yards on the run by the quarterback, Ingram. That is his longest run of the year. Previous was 27. Now we had double people moving, or 2 people moving. I say double people, which same thing.
Yeah, you can't have that on offense, and that'll cost him 5 yards.
All right. It'll be 5-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
They were trying to get themselves where they wanted to be in terms of the right positioning, but you had 2 people moving at the same time, and that's a no-no. Here's you look at Anthony Jones, who played on that Redskins Super Bowl team that was quarterbacked by Doug Williams. Played at Wichita State for Willie Jeffries, who was a longtime coach at South Carolina State. And there's a run straight up the gut on the left side, and again, Jay Peck doing the job for Alabama State. Number 2 all-purpose runner in the SWAC.
Yeah, just good running up front and good blocking. I mean, you can see just a small crease. And Jay Peck, I asked his coaches, you know, what makes him so good? Well, he's not real fast. He runs around a 4.6. He's not real big, and he doesn't do a lot of things good. But what he does is he just moves the pile. He can find the hole. I mean, this is a guy that doesn't look real flashy when he's getting yards, but at the end of the day, wow, he's over 100 yards rushing for the game.
From the shotgun this time. The pass behind the receiver. He was there. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 8-yard situation. He was trying to get that one out to Hoffman, Slim Hoffman.
And you can see the pressure that A&M is going to bring. You know, I joked with Bronski Towns yesterday at the walkthrough. I said, how many different blitzes do you have for the young quarterbacks? He said, well, he'll see quite a few of them early. You can see he's going to unleash them. He's not going to let him sit back there and get comfortable in the pocket. I mean, he knows that he's a young guy. Force him to make a quick decision with the football and see if he can make the correct decision when you're bringing the pressure with the blitz.
Harsh is at the bottom of your screen. Slim Hoffman at the top. 3rd down. In motion is James Earl Cray. And here comes Baldwin, creating pressure. The pass is caught or dropped. It was in and out of the hands of Harsh. Somehow, Ingram still managed to stand up and throw that pass. And Baldwin, I'll tell you, he was in the backfield before the ball was back there.
Yeah, it's like he knew the snap. I mean, these guys are going to bring pressure. You can see 11 people on the line of scrimmage, and they blocked Baldwin late.
They did a good job of picking him up, though, because if they hadn't, it would have been murder at the 30.
Yeah, but still, Alex Ingram, I mean, he doesn't have a real chance to get a good throw off. But once again, that's a ball that Brandon Harris should catch. He had a couple real good pass receptions early, but then he dropped 2 later on in the game.
2 for 6 and 4th down conversions this year. They're going for it here. 4th down and 8. Got to get rid of the ball, kid. You can't hold on to the ball. Just don't take a loss. I mean, don't give them better field position. Throw it away, right?
Yeah, well, in that situation, hey, no one's really open, but you have to realize it's 4th down. Just get it out of your hands, throw it in the end zone, and see if someone can make a play in the back end. I mean, he's just running out of time. Look at the pass rush coming from the backside, and man, he took a hit. Young guy, he's still a freshman. He'll get better, but in that situation, you have to get the ball out of your hands.
Yeah, you can't take a loss, especially there. If nothing, throw it out of the end zone, and you know you just gave them 2 extra yards. It is 1st down and 10, Alabama A&M. We're under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter, the first half, and this out of the backfield of Travis O'Neal for a 1st down across the 30 to about the 32.
Yeah, Travis O'Neal has 6 receptions for 101 yards coming into this game. He had a long 48-yard screen last week against Pine Bluff. So here's a guy at the fullback position who they like to complete passes to coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, we're talking about some of the things that or woes that beset Alabama State this year. They lost Brandon Averett, the defensive back, to an injury early in the year. Logan Hogan, the linebacker, and Travis Rayford. And here's a pass out in the flat that is complete. And it's Emmanuel Edwards on the reception. And, you know, you get those 3 kids back next year, and they'll be okay defensively. Don't forget to log on to your new online source, all things college sports, ESPNU.com. It's an online gateway that will connect you to all college sports content from ESPN. Log on to ESPNU.com. Today we are college sports. Luke wants to go to the air, now wants to take off and run, and he's brought down right at the gain of about 2 or 3 on the play. There to stop him is Michael Figures, number 44, and we have a player down. One of the linemen looks like he's a little shaken up for Alabama A&M, holding a leg. I believe it's a left guard. Jeffrey Johnson, preseason all SWAC selection, first team, and we're talking again about that defense and the people Alabama State has lacked this year. You know, that is one reason Coe has moved over to the cornerback, because he was a safety, because they lost Brandon Averett because of an injury. He had 3 interceptions a year ago for the Hornets of Alabama State. Then John Hogan, the linebacker, who was the number 3 tackler on the team a year ago, had 10 tackles for loss, had a sack. And then Travis Rayford, the defensive back, who had an interception. Those 2 were declared academically ineligible. You get those back next year, you've got some experience.
I mean, yes, you do. I mean, Coach Cole has this program going in the right direction. They're only 3-4 this year, but keep in mind all of the people they lost to Al Vance Robinsons, to Tavares Jackson, so they're still in the rebuilding mode. I mean, every year the fans want you to compete and win the title, you know, win the championship every year. But you have to realize when you have a lot of guys graduating, you have to rebuild and restock. And they have a lot of good guys coming back next year to this program.
Well, the big guy is up. Got number 54. I thought it was 64. I believe. Let's see. I can't figure out what that number is he got there. It's wrapped all over him.
It's a big jersey, Charlie. I mean, it's kind of tucked in all different kind of places. But those big guys, I mean, they're very tough. I mean, we talked with Coach Jones about them. He said, man, these guys are just warriors up front. They play hurt. They don't complain. And they do all of the dirty work for Nick Luke and Kelsey Luke and, of course, Tamar Scott.
Yeah, that is number 64, the left guard, Jeffrey Johnson.
Just have to stretch that jersey out a little.
Yeah. So now we got a flag before this play is run. We're down to 42 seconds remaining in the half.
To the snap. Prior to the snap. Prior to the snap. Number 76 on the false start. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
And another penalty against Alabama A&M. So instead of 3rd down and 4, it's going to be 3rd and 9 after the penalty. Clock is running. Luke, quarterback, he's going to keep it all the way and gets across the 40 out to the 45-yard line. They still have a timeout left. I believe that is Alabama A&M. Both teams have a timeout left. As Figures makes the stop defensively. It is a 1st down, though, for Alabama A&M.
They'll have to hurry up. It's only 18 seconds left in the half, so it doesn't seem like they're over the ball and really trying to do anything right now.
No, it really doesn't. Clock is running. I think they're just going to take it into the locker room at halftime. They're not even going to run another play. Kind of surprising.
Not really. A 14-3 lead with the defense you have. You're playing extremely well. Hey, why give Alabama State a chance at some cheap points at the end of this half?
Well, it is halftime here at the 65th edition of the Magic City Classic. 14-3 is our score. Pressure on the quarterback. And then the return by Banks, 99 yards. And that is what Alabama A&M needed, along with Nick Luke's touchdown.
I'm mostly proud of the changes that have been made.
Birmingham is the movement city, and we're proud of Birmingham being in the forefront of the civil rights movement.
Birmingham came a long ways, and I know how it got to where it is.
Birmingham has changed a lot.
One of the things I love about Birmingham is that it has a big city feel, but it's still a small city living.
I'm very proud to be a resident of Birmingham today. I love this city. This city has grown in positive ways.
We're at halftime. On the field, the mighty marching Hornets of Alabama State under the direction of James B. Oliver, a 1980 grad of Alabama State. In the meantime, let's take a look at some of the first half highlights, Eddie. Started off with Ingram from Alabama State leading his team down the field. He got a 37-yard runoff early.
That's right. Alex Ingram has provided the early excitement for the Alabama State Hornets. Has 61 rushing yards in the first half. We'll see if he can continue that effort in the second half. However, 2 attempts inside the red zone. They only have 3 points to show by Anthony Johnson. That's all they have on the board. Ulysses Banks, the freshman from Alabama A&M from Parker High School, right down the street from Legion Field Stadium. 99-yard kickoff return for the touchdown. Gives A&M the 7-3 lead. We followed that up with Nick Luke for a 4-yard touchdown run, and the Bulldogs have a 14-3 halftime lead.
Let's check out some of the first half statistics, and you see Alabama State is winning the game statistically in terms of total yards and time of possession, but the score is what counts.
And that's exactly what counts, because we're looking at wins and losses. I mean, Alabama State is doing a good job with the time of possession. However, they just can't get into the end zone. They had 2 trips inside the red zone, only have 3 points. And, of course, the Bulldogs with that big kickoff return is really the deciding margin so far.
Marching maroon and white of Alabama A&M on the field right now, 230 strong. Arthur Wesley is the director. He's been the director since 1979. Birmingham, the Magic City Classic, 14-3, Alabama A&M on top.
Alabama A&M University knows how to provide a quality education that's just right for you. With nearly 7,000 students, we're large enough to offer a wide selection of programs ranging from early childhood education and business to engineering, agriculture, and physics. Yet we're small enough to produce the serious scholars that earned us a spot on USA Today's academic teams for 4 consecutive years. Hundreds of the nation's top-ranking high school students choose A&M each year. Climb the hill to success at Alabama A&M. Call today, 372-5000.
As we get ready to start the second half here in Birmingham, Alabama, the Magic City Classic, 65th edition. As you look at Ulysses Banks, a man who had a kickoff return for 90 yards against Southern University earlier this year to open the game, and today a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown.
Well, he returned the first one into the north end zone. Now he's going to try to return this one to the south end zone. So we'll see if Alabama State's coverage team can do a better job than they did on his last return.
Alabama State will kick it off to start the second half. They received the opening kickoff. You look at Ulysses Banks down there. He's just a freshman, as you said, from Parker High down the street from where we are. Came into the game averaging 38 yards per kickoff return. This team, this Alabama A&M team, is ranked second in the nation in kickoff returns with an average of 27 yards per return.
And that's very big because not only are you setting up your offense, you're also putting points on the board.
They make sure they're not kicking to him. This is coming short. A fair catch is called at the 29-yard line. Last year, there was a turning point in this game with a kickoff return with a young man by the name of Emmanuel Edwards, who returned a punt 48 yards for a touchdown for Alabama A&M after they were trailing 60-0 and put them back in the ball game.
That's exactly right, man. Alabama State was cruising in this game last year, 16-0. Emmanuel Edwards stepped up with that big punt return. And then this year, I mean, down 3-0, your offense is doing nothing on your first 3 possessions, and Ulysses Banks steps up and has a 99-yard kickoff return. Sparks you going to 7-0, then Nick Luke comes with another touchdown, and now you're up 14-3 at the half.
As we start the third quarter here, first play, Kelsey Luke throws, and it's going to be called complete. I was wondering if he had his foot down. Now the other official comes in, but they are calling it a complete pass and a first down, or very close to the first down marker for Alabama A&M.
Wow, Charlie, looked like he was trying to throw that ball away, but he was able to make the catch. But look at the ball control early on. Alabama State, I mean, their time of possession, 16:52 to 13:08 by Alabama A&M. That's something that Alabama A&M is used to winning, but I'm sure that they much rather have this score of 14-3 as opposed to winning that time of possession.
That was good for 9 yards. It'll be second down and 1. Tamar Scott, the second back, he gets the ball, bounces to the outside. After there was nothing inside, gets the first down, and finally run out of bounds by Michael Coe.
Yeah, good vision by the big guy to see that the inside was closed. Hey, this door outside is open. I'm going to bounce it out there and get me some yards. Nothing going on the inside. Alabama State loses contains, so he just does the smart thing. Hey, I'm going to run the daylight. Nothing going on inside. Let's take it around the corner. And he's a big guy. He likes to go north and south in between the tackles, but shows some speed to get around the edge also.
Chris McWilliams was there to make sure he didn't come up the middle. So he bounces it to the outside and picks up a first down all the way to midfield. First down and 10, Alabama A&M. We're just starting the third quarter here, along with Eddie Robinson, Charlie Neal at Legion Field. Here's a misdirection play with Tamar Scott, but he does not get away this time. And big number 94, Greg Tanico, the junior from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, who came up to make the stop defensively.
And here's a guy that was hurt last year in this same Magic City Classic, and he tore like 2 or 3 ligaments in his knee. Yeah. And coach said, hey, he's really playing on one leg, but he still does a great job. I mean, only a junior, and you like that when a guy has an injury and is able to bounce back and recover and get back on the football field. And it's been a real tough road for him to get back to this Magic City Classic.
And this is only the 5th game he's played this year. It is second down after the loss on the play of 3, 2nd and 13. Play action, back to pass, throws, intercepted. Coming back with it is Foster. Desmond Foster with the INT to the 40. The first mistake made by A&M today.
Yeah, and a very big mistake by the Bulldogs. Desmond Foster, only his first interception on the year. He has 28 tackles to go with that. The senior from Ladonia, Georgia. Look at Kelsey Luke here stepping back in the pocket. Little bit of pass rush, and he just throws it right next to the receiver. Man, good job by Desmond Foster to see the ball coming and find the ball and make the interception, and also a good return because he's the kickoff returner.
So great field position for the Hornets of Alabama State. The ball is at the A&M 40-yard line. First down and 10 after the interception by Kelsey Luke, the one he threw. Only the 7th interception he's thrown this year. Meanwhile, keeping the ball on the ground, the Alabama State Hornets pick up about 4 yards with Peck running the football. When you talk about the defensive side of the ball, 5 interceptions coming in, so not a lot of interceptions for Alabama State coming in. That was a big defensive play.
A very big play because you're down 14-3 starting off this third quarter. But keep in mind, when we talked to Coach Jones, we asked him, what is the weakness of your team? He said that we don't finish and they don't focus. They let up intensity when they have a lead in the football game. So we'll see if they're able to try to close the door in this Alabama State's offensive possession.
Trips receivers to the bottom of your screen. The handoff to Peck, and Peck very close to the first down, about a yard shy, as he stopped right at about the 31. Richardson on the stop defensively, number 51 there. Jimmy Richardson, the junior from Orville, Alabama. Went to Keith High down there.
Third and short situation. The Hornets, of course, 38% on third down conversions.
And for the game, they are 2 of 8 in third down attempts. It's going to be very close. I don't think there was any gain on the play by the running back, Peck. He was dancing a lot but wasn't going forward.
He just have to pick a hole and stick with it. He was trying to make a decision, and Alabama A&M defenders made the decision for him. Johnny Baldwin. We've called his name a lot today. Of course, he's 6th in the SWAC and tackle, led the SWAC and tackles last year. And this guy, man, just a physical player. He's been all over the field. And we have a 4th down attempt by Alabama State right now.
And that's the 9th tackle for Johnny Baldwin. He's the leading tackler in the ball game. Going for it on 4th down from the shotgun. Here's Peck, gets the first down with plenty to spare. Plenty to spare that time as Lockhart made the stop defensively for Alabama A&M.
And you see a lot of teams do that. They get into a 4-receiver formation with a shotgun. They want to make you think pass, but really they were going to run this ball from the beginning. This wasn't a check by the quarterback. This was a designed and called run. And all they want to do is spread out that defense. Just get all of those defenders out of the box, and then your big running back and just have a one-on-one with the linebacker, pick the right hole, and get the first down.
1 of 2 and 4th down conversions today. The Hornets of Alabama State, as you saw Charles Coe, their head coach, over on the sideline. First down and 10 now, inside the 30 to 27. Back to pass is Ingram. Then he decides he wants to take off and run, but he's going to lose yards. He's going to lose about 5 yards, make it 4 on the play, and Baldwin was right there to meet him. I'll tell you, this is a kid. He can play at the next level, can't he?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, Johnny Baldwin, here's a guy that's a potential All-American for this year. I mean, you really like him. He's undersized, only 221 pounds, but he's extremely fast, and that's what they have to recruit. You talk to Coach Towns, the defensive coordinator, he said, hey, the guys that are big and fast, they're going to Alabama and Auburn. The guys that are little and fast, they come to Alabama State and A&M, and we coach them up, put them on the football field, and they're still playmakers for us.
2nd and 14 after the loss of 4. Ingram working out of the shotgun. A&M showing blitz. And here they come. Picked up pretty good. Ingram turns the corner. Gets the first down. Still on his feet. 10, 5, touchdown, Alabama State. 32 yards.
And that's That's exactly what Coach Jones was talking about. I mean, the coach from Alabama A&M, he said, we have situations where we don't play with a lot of intensity. You have the turnover by Kelsey Luke, the interception. Then you have Alex Ingram coming back with a dazzling run from scrimmage. No one can tackle him. Quarterback, but he turns into a running back once he breaks the line of scrimmage. He puts it into the end zone, and now Alabama State is right back in this football game.
And for the point after for Alabama State, Anthony Johnson. This one is good. He is 12 of 14 in PATs this year, and we have a 4-point ball game, 14-10. Ingram with a 32-yard run.
This long sleeve shirt, this reversible fleece vest, plus this team hat, all free.
Go to sioffer.com or call 1-800-346-4400.
14-10. We talk about the fact that they play each other close and have for many, many years. We have a 4-point ball game, 9:44 is just as many people outside still partying and cooking out as they are inside. The average margin of loss in terms of the Alabama A&M this year, 2.5 points per ball game. 2 losses by a total of 5 points. They won 5 games by a total of 29 points. You know, Coach said we could very easily be 0-7 or 2-5 as we are 5-2, or we could be 7-0.
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely correct, but they're used to these tight ball games. And like you said, it's one of those situations, hey, they were up 14-3. They got the ball in the third quarter. They throw an interception. Alabama State scores. Now it's a 4-point ball game. But one thing my coach always told me, what should have happened, happened.
Well, again, they're keeping the ball a little short. And it may be to their detriment because they have great field position. That is Alabama A&M all the way out to the 35, 45-yard line. And the man bringing the ball back up the field was Jacques Payant, the fullback. From their own 46, A&M will go to work. And the leading rusher in this ball game is the quarterback, Ingram, Alex Ingram. 88 yards for him this year. At last scoring drive, 6 plays, 40 yards, and they use 3:32 off the clock. As we look at Francis going in motion. Play action by Kelsey Luke under pressure. Lets it out there, has it complete to O'Neal. O'Neal in the open field. O'Neal at the 20, 15, 10, 5, down at the 4. Goes Travis O'Neal.
Wow, what a response by the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. Man, this guy, Travis O'Neal, we talked about him earlier. He had a big running catch last year on the screen. Here's just a fullback play where they're just running a bootleg. He gets out into the flat. He puts the one hand up. Hey, I'm open. Throw it to me. Man, look at the run after catch by the big guy. I mean, this guy's a fullback. He's not a tailback, and he's rumbling trying to get into that end zone and almost does.
51 yards down to the 3. He has the team's longest run so far this year. 62 yards before that one on a running play. And that was against Savannah State. Or not this year, as far as running plays in his career. 62 yards, that happened in 2004 against Savannah State.
Yeah, and only last week he had a 48-yard reception on the screen play. And he turns around and have a 51-yard reception today. So, I mean, you wouldn't expect the fullback to be your big play guy. Like, he just kind of sneaks out there and catches those passes when nobody's looking. But still, his run after catch is extremely impressive also.
1st and goal at the 3. Nothing doing that time for Tamar Scott. He stood up in the hole back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. A bunch of gold jerseys there defensively.
Yeah, and that is some good linebacker play right there. I mean, you can hear the pads popping from up here in the press box, man. These guys are really going at it. I think that was Michael Figures up there in the middle, and Tamar Scott, I think he may be a little bit woozy after that hit, because I'd heard that one up here, Charlie.
Certainly is. Jaquez Payant is the man, the up back in the eye. Tamar Scott, the second back. Play action. Here's Kelsey Luke throwing, incomplete. Trying to get it to the fullback O'Neal. Or Payant. That's who it is. Jaquez, 33. O'Neal got him down there with the big rumbling run after the catch. Inside the red zone today, Alabama A&M. For the season, 64%. They're facing a 3rd down and goal at the 3.
And that's not a very good percentage, only 64% in the red zone. I mean, they're 1 for 1 with a touchdown today. We'll see how they can stack up against this Alabama State Hornet defense.
And Alabama State ranks 7th in the conference. They've given up 80% red zone touchdowns this year. Here is touchdown, Tamar Scott. He made it look easy. 3 yards and a cloud of dust to the Hardy Hi-Yo Silver.
Very good cutback run by Tamar Scott. I mean, this guy, he's known as the physical inside runner, but hey, he knows how to get it in the end zone. He scored a touchdown in this game last year also.
And for the point after, Scott with the 3-yard run. So you score, I score.
And you're not going to catch up like that if you're Alabama State.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike, on 71 goal. Dead ball, unquestioned foul, 91 in the red. Those fouls will offset. We're on the track.
And there you look at Tamar Scott. He scored the touchdown, his 2nd touchdown rushing this year. For the point after, Lycia. It's up. It's good. 21-10 in the 3rd quarter here. Here he is, Tamar Scott from 3 yards out.
Us on the art of the sack. Sunday NFL Countdown presented by IBM, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
You ever have a deja vu? These past 3 days, I've woken up and it's the same day.
I don't understand.
But it's the same time, it's the same place, it's the same damn traffic report. The day is the same, but different things happen.
You think something happens to me?
Nothing is going to happen to you.
Daybreak, a new series, Wednesday, November 15th at 9/8 Central, only on ABC.
My dad's sweater who played football for Alabama A&M in 1955. Go Bulldogs!
Right now, the Bulldogs are growling 21-10. They're leading. And I'll tell you, what's so great about coming to this event is you've got people from both sides of the tracks. And I say that because you've got alumni, friends, classmates, high school teammates who went to both schools. Fathers went to Alabama A&M, sisters went to Alabama State. And, you know, they all come together for a great, great weekend. Here's the kickoff. Foster at the 3-yard line. A correction, that is Banks. A correction, that is McCray. That's Cray. And he is run out of bounds in front of the Alabama A&M bench at the 47-yard line. James Earl Cray on the return.
Yeah, it didn't look like he was going to have a whole lot with this return early on. You can see just a missed tackle, man. You make a guy miss, and you have to do that. You have to have an individual effort by the returner to bust a big one, and you had that from Cray on that return.
From their own 47 right now, trailing by a score of 21-10. Alabama State with the ball. First downs today. 5.5, 7.2 for Alabama A&M. 1st and 10 for State from the shotgun. Ingram is working. Uses legs on the last drive to get him into the end zone. Back to pass, now 1st down. And that should be interference. No flags?
No call. A little contact. Woo, fourth the ball right to the receiver.
Can't believe that one, but they got away with it. Frank Moore covering, defending on the play.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, Ingram sets and throws this ball. Can't really see the contact, but trust me, it was there. I mean, it was just running the square in and looked like the defensive back did bump the receiver just a little bit earlier, but hey, referees are saying go out there and play football.
I see. Apparently. Ingram again from the shotgun. On 2nd down and 10. Good field position. Can they take advantage of it? High snap. He had to take off with it because it was supposed to be a handoff, and it was such a high snap that he couldn't get it into JPEG's hands.
And they may want to put that play into the lineup because it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, well, they didn't lose anything, but of course Johnny Baldwin was the man on the spot to make sure it didn't do a whole lot of damage.
I'll tell you what, Johnny Baldwin, I think it's 2 of those 57s out there because every time I look at him, he's making another play. Here you can see just a high snap coming up. I mean, good job by Alex Ingram just to pull it in and realizing I'm not going to hand this off and let anything risky happen. Just take it and run it yourself and get a couple yards, and now at least you're in a 3rd and 5 situation.
And that's exactly what's facing Alabama. Alabama State blitz is coming, in trouble, and Richardson was leading the charge on the defensive side. Number 51 coming from the right, 57 finishes him off.
Yeah, and Johnny Baldwin, I mean, he's just blitzing up in the middle of the A gap, and it's about his 3rd time just busting through there where he's been untouched. I mean, he's just timing up the snap count extremely well. And then, of course, Chris Traylor coming around the end to finish him off. But give credit for that play for Johnny Baldwin making that play happen.
I've seen some great linebackers in HBCU's last couple of games, in addition to this young man Baldwin here, Torian Charles, as we may have a turnover down there. Let's see what happens. The official is saying Alabama State gets the ball back. So the turnover, the 2nd turnover by Alabama A&M. I was talking about the great linebackers I've been looking at. You're talking about Torian Charles from Bethune-Cookman and Justin Durant from Hampton University. But we look at here, the ball hits the foot, the back foot of one of the Alabama A&M players. That was number 6 down there.
I mean, that's a big break for Alabama State, because in that situation,
Marcus Black.
Yeah, when the ball is on the ground, you have to tell everyone to get away. And there's a call that every punt return teams make to, hey, get away, clear out so the ball doesn't hit anyone. But in that situation, it did. Alabama State, playing heads-up football, was able to recover that football. I mean, just a huge break for the Hornets if the referees give it to them, because it looked like they're still trying to talk it over to make sure that is the correct call.
Well, it's the correct call because it did hit the foot.
Well, we saw it, but they're reviewing it in their minds to make sure that they saw it.
I don't think there's any question.
There it goes, 1st down.
I don't think there's any question whether the call was correct. Maybe it's where they're spotting the ball.
They're talking about the spot, and that's when you have to throw the bean bag to make sure you have it in the approximate area.
So, new life for Alabama State.
And that's a mental error by the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. You have to get away from those punts. And that's a situation where you should have the football, but instead you're giving it to your opponent almost in the red zone.
Brandon McClure recovered the muff. Here's Ingram.
Taking a shot.
To the end zone. Touchdown, dropped. He had it, then let it go. Slim Hoffman, he had the height, he went up, he brought it down, but he lost it as he came down.
Just couldn't keep control. I mean, this is a great effort. Good throw by Ingram, man. Just a little hitch and go, trying to take a shot deep early, maybe catch the defense sleeping after the sudden change. But good defense by Frank Moore, man, just staying with it and fighting it to get the ball out of the hands of a much taller receiver, because Hoffman has that catch, but he just can't bring it in.
Oh, he's got it right there. But then the defender did a good job of knocking it away.
Never quit on the play. He just kept fighting, and he kept struggling until he got the ball out of his hands.
Frank Moore was the man. He tied for 2nd in the SWAC and interceptions. Didn't give up the TD that time. 2nd down. Here's a handoff. Off the left side. Cutting back inside is the running back, Jay Peck. Brought down by Johnny Baldwin.
Yeah, Johnny Baldwin made it out to the edge of the defense to make that play, but give some credit to Frank Moore. You can see out to the left of your screen, he's playing cat and mouse with the defender, and if he doesn't show up out there, that's a touchdown. He did a good job of fighting off the defender and making the play in space.
So now Alabama State is going to call a timeout. They're going to talk things over. They're facing a 3rd and 1 with the ball at the 12-yard line, and this game is kind of lived up to what we talked about at the beginning in terms of closeness and the fact that these two teams like to play each other close to the vest.
I mean, all of these games are close, but what I'm seeing here is kind of what Coach Jones talked about. I mean, the weakness of his team is that they don't finish in focus. They kind of have laws where they don't have the intensity that you would want throughout the game, because a couple times it seems like they're ready to bust this game open and take control, and every time the Alabama State Hornets make a play here or there or get a turnover, and they come fighting back to stay into this ball game.
In the last 10 years, the largest win, 35-0, 2001 by Alabama State. A&M 17 in 1996. And ESPNU Inside the Polls, presented by Conoco, breaks down the new college football polls each Monday at 6 Eastern. Mike Hall, Mike Gottfried, and Todd McShay will look back at the week that was and look ahead to the big matchups in college football. ESPNU Inside the Polls, presented by Conoco, each Monday at 6 Eastern. more information, log on to ESPNU.com. There have been 6 shutouts in this game, but we're not going to see that today. But we talk about the closeness of these games in terms of points. Scored 3rd and 1. Straight ahead. Looks like the first down is gained by Jay Peck. And as he moves the chains down at the 10-yard line, it'll be 1st and goal for Alabama State.
And that's what you want to do, man. When you have a guy like Jay Peck, let's not get cute. A lot of times on 3rd and 1, you see coaches want to have halfback option plays or something fancy. Hey, just give it to your big guy. Let our people knock your people off the ball and just get it the old-fashioned way. Just earn it, and they have the first down. Now they're in the red zone once again.
And one of the things Coach Anthony Jones told us is the defense has played solid, but they need to create more turnovers, something they haven't been able to force today, even though they played pretty good. Here's Peck. Peck for a couple of yards down to about the 8-yard line. But again, you know, you have to do things on both sides of the ball. You play well, but you got to take away the ball from your opposition sometime. I mean, coming into the game, they've only had 8 interceptions. As you look at the numbers on Peck, you know the leading rusher in this game is the quarterback Ingram.
Yeah, I mean, Ingram and Peck, I mean, they're combining today to give Alabama State a very effective rushing game, and they're still controlling the clock. All they have to do is try to put some points on the board, and they'll be right back in this football game. 2nd down and 8. Peck in the backfield, play action, under trouble. Hey, will not get this one off. That is Ingram. Big number 55 coming in there to make the stop defensively is Avery Molan, the linebacker. Yeah, just tons of pressure. Whenever they get into the red zone, man, A&M is bringing everybody blitzing 8 and covering with the rest of the guys. Any type of pass play that State's going to attempt is going to have to be quick. They're going to have to get it out of Ingram's hand, let it be a one receiver route where he can just pick it up and throw it, because if he stands in the backfield, drops back, the Bulldogs are bringing a ton of pressure on all of passing situations.
3rd and goal from the 19-yard line. Working out of the shotgun. Showing blitz again. Here they come. Has a little room. Trying to buy some time. Throws it with a man hanging on his foot. Somehow the quarterback, I'll tell you, we've seen Ingram do that all day today. He had Molan hanging on his foot. He also had big number 99, that is David Winston, hanging on his foot. And somehow he got that ball away from there.
I mean, he's a very tough guy to sack. I mean, you can get him boxed in, but it's hard to actually get him on the ground. So now you have a decision time.
Like a Eugene
by
Bruce,
Coach Cole. Yeah.
Not as big as Eugene. Not many quarterbacks are.
Not many quarterbacks are that big, but this Ingram, man, he can dance. So now we have a field goal attempt by Alabama State.
And this will be a 37-yard attempt. Johnson already hit a 34-yard of the day. This one is good. So it's 21-13. We'll be back. With 3:25 left here in the 3rd quarter, 21-13 is our score. Eddie?
Happy birthday to you, Mr. Charlie Neal. Look to your left. Have a cake for you. Surprise, surprise. Happy birthday to my co-host here, Charlie Neal.
How did they do that? How did you sneak this one over me?
We were trying to figure out how many candles to put on. I know you're.
You don't have enough.
You're still 39 years old, right?
I will always be Jack Benny.
Okay.
Hey, I thank you so much. I'm sure Linda had something to do with this.
She had everything to do with it. It's my pleasure to be here with you. Of course, you used to call my games when I played in the Magic City Classic, and I think you called the first Magic City Classic.
65 years ago. You were probably right. Thank you so much. And I don't know if that was supposed to be an onside kick or a squib kick down on the ground, but the ball is fielded right on the Alabama State side of midfield.
Yeah, they're trying to keep the ball away, of course, from Ulysses Banks. He had a 99-yard touchdown return, but it's not working out. That's just trying to be a squib kick. But, hey, give a lot of credit to the guys up front from Alabama A&M paying attention, being heads up. And now they have a great field position once again.
If there were the hands team up there, they did a great job, didn't they? At the 49-yard line of Alabama State. First time today that Alabama A&M has started across midfield. Keeping the ball on the ground, running it straight ahead with Nick Luke Tamar Scott basically carried on the last series, and now Nick Luke is in the lineup, the brother of the quarterback, Kelsey Luke. So Nick Luke started his career at Alabama, while his brother had started his college career at Auburn.
Yeah, and that's very interesting. You have two guys that go to the big rival schools in the state, to Alabama and Auburn. Of course, they're both from Phoenix City, Alabama, and they both wind up in Huntsville at Alabama A&M, and they're having good college careers.
No question about it. This Alabama A&M team came in as the second least sacked team in the conference. And here's Kelsey Luke escaping for a moment. And finally he's brought down, and we have a penalty flag down. See what this one's all about.
And we'll see if the Bulldogs can close the door on the Hornets. They've had a trouble all year of actually closing out opponents.
And we have a holding call against Alabama A&M. They've been penalized. This will be their fourth penalty of the afternoon. Harold Cooper is our referee. Him and his crew have done a pretty good job today.
Hold on the offense. Number 88, be 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay second down.
Charles Moody, the tight end, guilty. Junior out of Daleville, Georgia. You know, this has been a banged-up Alabama A&M team. The injury bug hit them pretty hard last week. But one of the things that Anthony Jones will tell you when you talk about the strength of this team is that they have a lot of heart. And this is a true team concept. If there is any weakness, is one thing you mentioned earlier, their inability to finish. Long pass going upstairs. Overthrown and intended for Emmanuel Edwards. And just couldn't get it to him. Being covered pretty good downfield by West.
Yeah, you like that, trying to take a shot. Hey, this game has been tight, nip and tuck, 8-point lead. Let's try to make it a 15-point lead, going up top on a second and long situation. Maybe catch the defender by surprise, expecting the runner or something easy to get into a third down situation.
Here's the third down situation so far today. 3 of 6, 50%. Alabama A&M, and now they're faced with a 3rd and 12. Luke back to pass. He wants to run it, but now has it complete, but not enough for a first down, as Foster was up to make the stop immediately on Emmanuel Edwards.
Yeah, that was just good football. I mean, you saw Alabama State bring the blitz. Alabama A&M picked it up great, but Desmond Foster staying with the receiver, able to make the stop before he get the first down.
So to bring up a punting situation.
Yeah, Luke delivering. I mean, he went to the right guy. Just a great job by Desmond Foster making the tackle and not letting him get any yards after catch.
Remember, that drive started on the Alabama State side of the 50. They're punting after only a 5-yard gain on the drive, and it's 4th down. Nobody back to receive the punt for Alabama State. But we don't see an all-out rush either.
Very interesting strategy.
I know. And it's going to be down at the 1.
Yeah, that must have been a mistake. I mean, the punt returner must have misaligned or not been on the football field, because there's no way you line up in that situation without a punt returner unless you're going to have an all-out rush.
And there was no all-out rush. I didn't understand that. A 43-yard punt. They kicked from the 44. I mean, you can't get it any better than that.
Yeah, some special teams miscues by both teams, but especially by Alabama State giving up the long touchdown return. And now this situation where you have your team backed up on its own 1-yard line.
And let's see if the Alabama State defense and those linebackers that they've done such a great job today with Richardson and Traylor and Lockhart and Mullen and those guys, Nelson, can create some havoc back here, because Alabama State is in its own end zone for all practical purposes. Now let's see if did the ball cross the plane. It did get out of the end zone. It wasn't far. This is when your defense can really tee off and take chances, right?
I mean, every time
if you get past the first wave, now you might have a 99-yard touchdown.
Yeah, but you take your chance. I mean, every team I've played on, when we had teams backed up on their own 1-yard line, we looked at this as an opportunity to score points on defense. You can see, looked like that ball may have been on the ground. I mean, he almost lost that football.
Well, you know, I think it might have, because I saw two officials.
Yeah, there you go. It's a fumble. So that ball was actually on the ground.
Two officials did throw that white beanbag.
Yeah, very fortunate Alabama State recovered that ball and then didn't recover it in their end zone where it would have been a safety.
That's going to be the end of the third quarter. We have 15 minutes of football left here in the 65th edition of the Magic City Classic. 21-13 is the score. Alabama A&M leading by 8. But Alabama State, they have their backs to the wall.
You can discover the secret to $1 million abs.
As we start the fourth quarter here in Birmingham Legion Field. 13 points on the board for Alabama State, 21 for Alabama A&M. Second down and 10 for Alabama State. Going to the air. Incomplete. Trying to get Slim Hoffman on a little flare pattern. Out of the backfield, give him some breathing room. New quarterback in the lineup, though, is Chelpio Woods. Woods, we hadn't seen him all game. Alex Ingram had been the man who had been running the offense for the most part. Now Chelpio Woods, a redshirt freshman from Selma, Alabama, is in the lineup. Let's see if there's some kind of injury to Alex Ingram as they just try to get a little breathing room and just go straight ahead. Looks like it may have injured his finger, his pinky finger, on his throwing hand.
Yeah, that may have something to do with that fumble that happened on the first down play when they were backed up. Maybe he took a bad snap from the center and just got it jammed and can't continue at this point. That would, of course, be a blow for Alabama State because he's been very effective running the football, has scored the only touchdown for the Hornets today, and was doing a very good job of moving the offense.
So from their own 7, they're going to punt it away. And Anthony Johnson punting from his own end zone. This should give Alabama A&M great field position. And very good return that time. But not much.
Number 19, Frank Moore.
Yeah, Frank Moore, the defensive back. And they're working on the finger of the quarterback. Look at the end of the tip of the finger. Am I seeing right?
Yeah, it's not supposed to bend that way. So
yeah,
if you're squirmy at home, you may want to turn off the TV for just a second.
Yeah, I think it's dislocated. Yeah, because that bottom part looks like it's the middle of the finger, doesn't it? 47-yard punt, 13-yard return. And good field position all the way down inside the 40 to about the 37-yard line. So second straight possession that Alabama A&M has started in Alabama State territory. Let's listen to Harold Cooper.
Prior to the snap, ball start on 64 in the red, 5-yard remain first down.
That's Jeffrey Johnson. We saw him limp out a little earlier. He's back in the lineup. Senior from Grand Bay, Alabama, with the Brian High there, one of the most consistent offensive linemen on this Alabama A&M team. Under 14 minutes to play. Francis is the man in motion, coming back on a counter play. Nick Luke fumbled the ball. Alabama State has it, or no? Maybe he got lucky. Alabama A&M did get it back. I think one of the linemen came up with the fumble recovery. Christian Smith. What a story he is.
Yeah, and that ball just bounces out on Nick Luke. Very, very fortunate for the A&M Bulldogs. I mean, they've had some turnovers in key situations. Actually stripped out by one of the Alabama State defenders, and great opportunity for Bama State to recover that ball, and they just couldn't pull it in.
Of course, Christian Smith, the senior from San Diego, California, preseason second-team all-conference selection, was a finalist for the Dratty Award. Only one of 17 players nationally to be eligible for that award, as Nick Luke gets the call this time once again. And when you talk about all divisions, NAIA, all NCAA divisions, only 17 players eligible. And there he is, Christian Smith, He is the only player from an HBCU among the 17.
Wow, that's a great job. I mean, and that's what these guys are. They're actually student athletes. We also, we get so caught up in all the football things and all the things that go around the campus on Saturday. But keep in mind, these guys have to go to school Monday through Friday, and they're there to get degrees. And, of course, he's excelling at that right now.
That Draddy Award is for the Scholar Athlete of the Year. In motion, Kevin Francis. Here's the pass out to
good tackle.
Receiver Francis coming out of the backfield, and a good play by Foster to make the stop defensively shy of the first down.
That's the second time we've seen Desmond Foster come up on a third down situation and just make a great tackle and not allow the receiver to get the run after catch and get the first down.
Very close to a face mask though there, wasn't it? But it's gonna be a fourth down facing Alabama A&M. Fourth down and about 2. The ball at the 30-yard line.
A&M 14 of 25. I mean, 25 fourth down attempts so far this year. So this is no stranger to the A&M offense.
They're going to go for it. Nick Luke. Very close. Thinks he has it. Probably got it all the way down to about the 27. I think he had to go to the 28, and he made it to the 27, so had enough for the first down. So Nick Luke on the carry that time. 40 yards before that run.
Here's with big Jeffrey Johnson coming around, man, delivering the block right there. That's the key block to spring him, because that play started off very slowly. He was able to push him and get that first down.
We don't see that pulling guard too much anymore, do we?
With too much team speed on defense to pull those guards around, and those defensive linemen can run. I mean, those big guys can really move, but he did a great job just now getting that block at the point of attack.
Here's Nick Luke once again. Hit by Figures immediately. First person to hit him.
This Alabama State defense has been extremely tough. I mean, they've had a couple of times where they've actually come on the field on their own side of the 50-yard line and still have been able to hold A&M without any points. You can see Nick Luke 10 rushes for 44 yards, and they would like to give him the ball another 5 or so times. O'Neal 3 receptions for 64, and what they're doing, they just want to work this clock, just pound the Alabama State defense, run them down, wear them down. You have an 8-point lead with 10 minutes left in the game, and this is the type of ball, of course, that Anthony Jones wants to play going down the stretch.
And of course, we're only a touchdown away for Alabama State, with them pulling to within a point, and maybe going for the 2.
Of course you would go for the 2 in this situation. if they're fortunate enough to stop them, a lot of things have to happen to get to that point.
The Hornets and the Bulldogs doing their thing on the sideline, while the two teams do their thing on the field.
Saturday, November 4th at noon Eastern on ESPN.
21-13 our score here in the fourth quarter in Birmingham. Don't forget to lace up your skates for college hockey on ESPNU. Next Sunday as Bowling Green, the Falcons face the Redhawks of Miami. Ohio in a battle for the Buckeye State bragging rights. It's college hockey right here on ESPNU Sunday at 3 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPNU.com. Second down and 6. Play action. Kelsey Luke in trouble. Steps up and is brought down in the backfield. There's the ball control by Alabama State. They have the time of possession advantage so far, but they're trailing by 8 on the scoreboard, and they've run more plays. And of course, the big play in this game still is the 99-yard kickoff return. Here's the total yards coming up. 200 for Alabama State, 205 Alabama A&M. That's pretty equal.
Yeah, everything is extremely even, but like you said earlier, man, that big kickoff return by the freshman Ulysses Banks is definitely the difference in this ball game.
Luke back to pass, looking into the end zone, and it goes incomplete. Nobody's home. I think he was trying to hit Kevin Francis, but Francis cut the route off a little short.
Yeah, and what you're seeing is Alabama State is very comfortable with playing man-to-man defense on the Alabama A&M receivers, because they think that that's where they excel at. They can match up with that, and from that point, you can bring a lot of pressure on the quarterback and just tell your DBs, hey, you just have to cover that guy and make something happen on your own.
And it's 4th and 13, so they're going to punt it away this time. Coming on is Rashawn Kyler, freshman from Stone Mountain, Georgia. And again, they were unable to convert after starting in Alabama State territory. Now we got a penalty flag down. You know, we talked about Johnny Baldwin and some of these linebackers that we have for Alabama A&M. I think we have a delay of game.
The game, charge to the offense, number 27, 5-yard penalty, remaining 4th down.
You've got a young man by the name of Robert Mathis who's making a name for himself in the National Football League as a member of the Indianapolis Colts, and has broken into the starting lineup there and had a big game a week ago against the Redskins. And I think they play Denver coming up this week, Monday night. So Alabama State gets the ball after the punt and thrown 12. We'll be back. 21-13 here in the 4th quarter, 9:18 to go. Along with Eddie Robinson, I'm Charlie Neal, and we talked about Johnny Baldwin and what he's meant to this team so far today. Boy, look at him play defense right here. You know, 2 years ago in this game, Eddie, he had a interception, returned 17 yards for a touchdown for Alabama A&M, and just had a whale of a ball game today.
Yeah, I mean, he really likes this Magic City Classic. I mean, 15 tackles on the day, 2 sacks. And this guy was all-conference last year. I'm pretty sure he'll be all-conference again this year. And this is a guy that you can look to see playing on Sunday. I mean, he has that type of ability from his linebacker position.
Came into the game as the team's leading tackler. Here, Ingram is back in the lineup, but he's going to be sacked for a big loss inside the 5 at about the 3-yard line. Coming up is Lockhart, Kevin Lockhart. He's been playing a heck of a game today on the defensive side of the ball. That wasn't Lockhart, that was 96 Cummings.
And Ingram just a little bit too hesitant in the pocket. I mean, when you see that pocket start to collapse, you have to get out of there and start running. He's done a great job of that early on. That time he just waited a little bit too long, and Cummings said, hey, you have to get that ball out your hand, else I'm going to knock you down, and almost get a safety.
Remember Lieutenant Dukes that played for them a year ago? Well, this Cummings takes Lieutenant Dukes' place. And I'll tell you, I think he got promoted to captain on that play. As Peck gets the call and gets the carry, and Black makes the stop, but not before a gain all the way out across the 15 to about the 17-yard line with 8:21 to go. 3rd down.
And Alabama State has to be careful trying to pass the ball too much. You have to keep in mind here, we're a run-first team. Jay Peck, the 2nd leading rusher in the conference. You still have time. 8 minutes to go in this ball game. You're only down 1 possession. You can go score the touchdown and still go for 2 and tie it up. So still have your runs and passes at your disposal right now.
Ingram on a play action. In trouble from behind. Gets it away, unfortunately. But it goes incomplete. But the pressure, and he's a little slow getting up. The pressure was put on from behind, and he's already had the finger problem dislocated, and now he is sacked.
Yeah, remember, he came into this game with a banged-up shoulder also. They were trying to get a little quick screenplay, and man, look at that A&M defense. I mean, those guys are coming from everywhere you can.
The body's not meant to go like this.
Not that way,
yeah.
Man.
See, he's hit down below by Harper, and Mullen gets him up high. And you have to be a contortionist for your body to twist in that position.
And this kind of reminds me of my conversation I had with defensive coordinator Bronsky Towns. I said, hey, you have a couple of young quarterbacks. You have anything special for him tomorrow? And he just kind of smiled and laughed at me. And now I see what he had planned. He knew that he was going to bring pressure on these young quarterbacks and try to force them to make fast decisions. And so far, I mean, Ingram has been effective, but he's been roughed up also. This A&M Bulldog defense has put a lot of pressure on him today.
Ball at the 17. They'll punt it away. Under 8 minutes to go. And it takes a bounce and dies right at about the 41-yard line, and that's where Alabama A&M will go to work 1st down and 10. With 7:40 to go, we have an 8-point ball game here in Birmingham.
Wednesday, Wizards Cavaliers and Clippers Suns. Coverage begins at 7.
21-13 our score. Alabama A&M by 8 over Alabama State with 7:40 to go. Let's look again and revisit the standings as they come into today's contest in the Eastern Division. You know, Jackson State, who's on top right now, was picked to finish 4th in the preseason polls. Alabama A&M was picked to finish on top. All corners right where they were picked to be, as is Mississippi Valley. Well, actually, Mississippi Valley was picked to finish 2nd, and Alabama State to finish 5th. And it shows the importance of this game with a big matchup coming up with Jackson State and Alabama A&M next week.
Yeah, I mean, if Alabama A&M can pull off this victory so far, I mean, they're doing well. It'll be a huge matchup against Jackson State, and that will be for the outright Eastern Division lead.
This Alabama A&M team, as you look at ball control right now, Alabama State still has the edge by 5 minutes. Almost 5 minutes in the game. 3 times Alabama A&M has been in the SWAC championship. They lost to Grambling each time, 14-6 under Ron Cooper in 2000, and then 31-19 to Grambling in 2002 and 45-6 a year ago. And here goes Tamar Scott, and Tamar Scott for a couple of yards for Alabama A&M, who's going to try to run this clock out. I mean, that's the smart thing to do at this juncture.
Plus, you have a veteran quarterback like Kelsey Luke. I mean, this is a guy who knows how to control the clock and the game in the full quarter. I mean, he always plays extremely well going down the stretch. Don't look for him to make any bad mistakes or bad decisions, and they have a lot of confidence in his ability to run or throw the ball at the correct time.
He's completed 9 of 17 passes, though he's thrown a pick today, but he has 132 yards. But they're not really a pass-happy team.
Not at all.
And if they do, they're short control passes. Delay of game again on Alabama A&M. 6th time they've been penalized, or 7th time they've been penalized today. 40 yards in penalties.
And that's costly because you go from 2nd and 8 to 2nd and 13. That's a huge advantage for your defense. And you can see Alabama State is bringing in a substitution package, so maybe they're going to bring some more pressure on quarterback Kelsey Luke.
Anthony Jones has taken his team to the SWAC championship twice. Of course, that SWAC championship will be played East against the West December 16th in the same Legion Field here in Birmingham, Alabama. Who will it be this year? Will it be Arkansas Pine Bluff or Grambling representing the West? Jackson or A&M with the East? Here's Kelsey Luke trying to get to the corner. Run out of bounds in front of the Alabama A&M bench. And it'll bring up a 3rd down. No gain on the play.
You have to give credit to this Alabama State defense. They've played extremely well today. I mean, there's 21 points on the scoreboard. Of course, 1 touchdown was from a kickoff return, so they've only given up 14 points, but there's been plenty of situations where they've actually come on the field where the ball was on their side of the 50-yard line. So far, they're playing an extremely good defensive football game, and they've had the turnover with the Desmond Foster interception.
Out of the 3 conference losses for Alabama State, only 2 of them, I should say, or by a total of 7 points. So this team could very easily be 5-1 as far as the SWAC is concerned in the Eastern Division, as Luke gets the pass out, complete. Not enough for a 1st down, though. That was a 3rd down play. He did get it complete, as Mitchell made the catch. Anthony Mitchell, number 84. Lil Harrison was the man defending, number 29 there, sophomore from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So to bring up a punting situation once again from their own 48-yard line.
You have Michael Coe deep. Of course, he's a coach's son, and he's 2nd in 1AA with an 8.4 punt return average. We'll see if he can make a big play on this return.
High kick. Not going to give him any room to run it back, and it takes a bounce in favor of Alabama State. Goes out of bounds right at about the 35-yard line. Let's look at the remaining schedule for Alabama A&M. We say they play at Jackson State next week. Actually, it's not going to be a cakewalk for them because all of these teams have played very, very well at times during the season. And you look at that Alcorn game coming up on November 11th, and then they close out the season at home against Prairie View. The fortunate part, I guess, for Alabama A&M is the last 2 games are at home.
Yeah, but we talked to Coach Jones. He said, the SWAC conference is very healthy, meaning that every team has a chance to win week to week. A lot of good competitive teams in the conference. Said it's good for conference play and for the schools, but it's tough on the head coaches.
It certainly is. 1st down for Alabama State. Here's a run off the left side by the running back, Peck. And you're talking about Alabama State. They have to play Grambling on the road. Then they play Mississippi Valley, and they close it out against Tuskegee. So they only have 2 conference games left. And here's a final score. Mississippi Valley beat Prairie View today. So Mississippi Valley in the East, they go to 4-3 in the conference. Prairie View falls to 1-5 in conference play.
Yeah, Mississippi Valley beat Alabama A&M earlier in the season, so they still have an outside chance of getting into the SWAC championship game also.
They certainly do. Also on, and we talked about Alabama A&M's remaining schedule. Alabama State at Grambling. They close it out against Mississippi Valley, and then on Thanksgiving Day, they take on Tuskegee in the Turkey Day Classic. You know what is interesting is there are 8 conferences that receive automatic bids to the 1AA playoffs. The Southwestern Athletic Conferences is one of those conferences that don't. One of the reasons is the Turkey Day Classic with Alabama State and
the Bayou Classic.
And the Bayou Classic, Grambling, and the Turkey Day Classic with Tuskegee and Alabama State. But those teams find that they make more money in terms of playing those games rather than going to the 1AA playoffs. It's more financially beneficial to them than to take part in the 1AA playoffs. We're in Birmingham, Alabama. It's the 65th edition of the Magic City Classic. Alabama A&M and Alabama State, along with Eddie Robinson. I'm Charlie Neal, and we're at Legion Field in Birmingham. Alabama A&M in the maroon jerseys. Just in case you joined us, to recap the scoring, Alabama State started it off with a field goal by Johnson of 34 yards. And then Banks returned the ensuing kickoff 99 yards for a touchdown. And Alabama A&M has been on top ever since. That made it 7-3. Luke's 4-yard run, the quarterback, made it 14-3, and that's the way it stood at half. Ingram with a 32-yard run, the quarterback for Alabama State, made it 14-10 in the third quarter, but then Tamar Scott's 3-yard run increased the A&M lead to 21-10. Johnson's second field goal of the day, a 37-yarder, 21-13. That's where we stand right now with 4:11 to go, but Alabama State has the ball, pretty good field position at their own 49-yard line.
They've tried a couple of deep passes to Slim Hoffman, haven't been able to connect on anything. We'll see if they can make one big pass play before this game is over.
Trying to go back to the right side. Well, just to show you how fast, and is that a fumble?
They ruled him down, but man, that was extremely close. Extremely close.
I think the ball went out of bounds anyhow. Even after the ball left the hands of the...
But Charlie, you were about to say the speed of Johnny Baldwin. Let me finish that sentence. I mean, this guy, look at him come all the way from the backside. I mean, the quarterback gets out of the pocket. Man, you're talking about closing ability. And then he goes for the strip also. Very close play, but it does look like the knee was down before the ball was out.
That's right. You see the official pointing right away.
Of course, the A&M sideline wants to help with that call.
Oh, no question. What are you looking at, ref? So they got lucky. They didn't lose the ball. They didn't lose any yards. It's 2nd down and 10.
Losing time off the clock. That's the only thing. We're down to almost 3 minutes in this football game.
From the shotgun, empty backfield for Ingram. Pressure coming again. Throws it out, incomplete. You cannot get down the field and get first downs with 3-yard passes, and that one to Harris.
That's exactly right. I mean, they're really not built to have a lot of down the field passes. I mean, they're more designed for the run, and you can see here in the fourth quarter, I mean, they're 8th in the SWAC, only scoring 4.7 points a game in the fourth quarter. And today, of course, they've been shut out in the fourth quarter. So if they want to win this football game, they have to come up with some type of magic in this game and have at least 1 or 2 big plays to get them in scoring position.
Yeah, they've only scored 33 points in the fourth quarter all year long. And 41 points is all that Alabama State has given up in the fourth quarter. Or Alabama A&M, rather, has given up in the fourth quarter. This one goes incomplete. Too low again for James Earl Craig. But again, the pressure that they're putting on Ingram is relentless.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes he's kind of feeling ghost a little bit. I mean, he had time to step up and complete this pass. But when you're a running quarterback, you're used to getting in the pocket and nothing's open, you take off running. It's kind of hard to just sit back there and not dance not dance feet and move around and want to take off running. So he just has to settle down. He has some open receivers downfield. If he can get protection, he just has to step up and make a throw and complete a pass.
A lot of youth on this Alabama State team, but you have to grow up fast. And after 7 games in the season, you're not a freshman anymore, are you, Eddie? There's a pass, incomplete. I don't know who that was intended for, but it was thrown under duress, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, he's been under pressure all day, and you have to expect that. I mean, you have a young quarterback. You have to blitz a young quarterback. I mean, with these guys up front from Alabama A&M, you can see Dominic Cummings, Johnny Baldwin. I mean, everyone is having a shot at the quarterback, and that's what you have to do to a young quarterback. Make him feel uncomfortable. We're going to blitz him. We're going to break your finger. We're going to turn you upside down. And then, oh, man, that's just a tough hit right there. It looked like it could have been some hands to the head, but, hey, it's a tough game out there in Magic City Classic. And only a young guy. So, I mean, he'll be back and have some more big days in this game. But today, just too much pressure by the Bulldog defense.
Peck had 97 yards to help the team's effort, but nothing doing down the stretch. Couldn't get it into the end zone. 2.5 minutes to go, and Alabama A&M will just run out the clock, even though Alabama State still has a timeout remaining. 66,000, about 2,000 less than a year ago, but that's the official attendance here. 66,000 showed up for this 65th edition of the Magic City Classic. And I'll tell you, this is one of the big crowds you'll see at all of the HBCU Classics this year.
And Charlie, there's probably about another 20 or 25,000 people outside tailgating.
Right. Didn't even come in.
Didn't even come in.
And they were, you know, they started camping out. You were up here earlier in the week. They started camping
Wednesday.
out Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, the stadium opens on Wednesday, and the RV showed up. There was a line around the block at 8 o'clock Wednesday morning.
Trying to get in. And it's a great festive event. And here is Tamar Scott running straight ahead. And here's outside some of the activities. People just coming in and taking part of the festivities. There's a lot of vendors out there and a lot of promotional things done by various corporations. And of course, this is like a function at the junction. Remember that? You don't remember that song, do you?
That's
Pretty girls with pretty smiles.
I'll make you tell us your age. I know it's your birthday.
All decked out in the latest styles. Betty Boop and Oopie Doop from Moham Sam from Alabama.
You're dating
Minnesota
yourself, Charlie.
Fats from Hobo Flats.
You're dating yourself.
Breathtaking, hip-shaking cuties, fascinating, devastating beauties. What a great day.
But I tell you what makes this game so special is it's not just the alumni that get involved in this game, but it's also the city of Birmingham. You just have a lot of people who didn't go to Alabama State or A&M, but they just really participate. They come out here and tailgate. It's just a great weekend for the whole city of Birmingham. The Magic City Classic, a very special event, no matter what team you're rooting for.
Tamar Scott just picked up another big first down for Alabama A&M, and Alabama State will call its final timeout. 58 seconds to go in this one. And again, we talked about the time of possession. Alabama A&M averages 35 minutes per game. Today they were held way under their average, about 8 minutes. That's unusual for them, but the most important thing that Coach Anthony Jones is concerned with is what the final score is up on that board.
You know, and he told us that with all of the close games that they've had, he said, I'd rather have, what did he say, a ugly win instead of a pretty loss any day of the week.
Well, he said that, you know, his team has won ugly. Those 5 games that they won, I mean, you look at their schedule, they beat Tennessee State by 7 points. They beat Grambling in overtime by 3. They lost to Mississippi Valley by 3. They beat Texas Southern by 5. They beat Southern by 7. They beat Stillman by 7. They lose to Arkansas Pine Bluff by 2. So you see there was no score. This is the only game so far this year in which there was more than 7 points separating them and their opponents.
And most of their games have gone down to the last play of the game. Of course, they'll be in the victory formation for this game, but a lot of it is just the parity in the SWAC conference. Every team is extremely good. You have to bring your A game week to week. And even Alabama State, I mean, they competed today. They had a chance to be in this football game. They're probably going to lose by 8 points, and the margin of victory is that kickoff return for 99 99 yards. If not for that, I mean, then you're talking about a one-point ball game once again.
No question about it. And how big was that kickoff return by Ulysses Banks at 99 yards? It came right after. That was actually the ensuing kickoff, because Alabama A&M went down the field, 14-play, 65-yard drive to open the game, and scored on a field goal by Johnson. And that'll be the last play of this ball game. And this 65th edition of the Magic City Classic is history. Tamar Scott, a very happy man. 46 yards and a touchdown for him this afternoon from Demopolis, Alabama. Boy, is he happy.
Looks like T.O. standing on the star, doesn't he?
Standing on the S. Well, I really enjoyed it, and it was nice to be with my extended family on my birthday. Thank you so much.
Of course, Charlie.
Well, the final score, 21-13. Alabama A&M over Alabama State. Up next, SportsCenter U. And for more information, log on to your new home for the finest in college sports, ESPNU.com. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Again, the final score, 21-13 from Birmingham, Alabama, the 65th edition of the Magic City Classic. Alabama State led early, but then Alabama A&M came back, and they win it by 8. For Eddie Robinson Jr. and our entire ESPNU crew, Charlie Neal saying so long from Legion Field.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines, Virginia Tech Miami, UCLA Cal, or other regional action. Next Saturday at 8, college football lives here.
Shivering upon their chests.